And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome here to the Brevard Memorial Stadium as we get set for today's homecoming game for 2019 between your Brevard Tornadoes and the visiting Maryville College Scots. These two teams have clashed before. Brevard coming out on the short end last year. This time maybe a turnaround. Brevard having a very good year. So far, Maryville, maybe an interesting story here. They are 0-3, but we're going to talk about that 0-3. Don't be fooled by the record. I'm Chuck Sebastian. Along with me today, Phil DeMont-Mullen is going to join me. He is going to bring you some special guests today. And Phil, football weather really today. First time we've seen football weather in probably a month. About 63 outside, cloudy, a little light rain. Perfect game for some football.
That's right. After a real heat wave, throughout western North Carolina these past few days, the cool weather hit today, and it does, in fact, feel like football. And, folks, what you're watching right now, by the way, this game is the homecoming game for Brevard College, and the homecoming court, a tradition here at Brevard College taking place out there. And, in fact, a few Brevard College football players part of that ceremony there. So a special ceremony there. You see President David Joyce and Lynn Joyce crowning the homecoming king and queen. So congratulations on that. And for these players who are part of this homecoming court now, some quick adjustments as they'll have to get ready for kickoff here in what's going to be a compelling USA South Conference matchup between Maryville and Brevard.
Yeah, throw the homecoming court stuff off. The crown, the king is down there. One of the players, he'll have to get ready for his time here coming up this afternoon. And of course, as we mentioned, records a big part of this. Of course, you know how Brevard comes in that first game, what a heck of a battle, and unfortunately that game got canceled, so that was a no game. And that one thrown in the books, including some records that were set by some of your Tornadoes. They did not get a chance to put their names in the record books, but they come back the following week. They beat Christopher Newport 27-6. It took a while to get going. And then last week at Allen, boy, what a game for the defense. 5 interceptions leads to a 40-9 win, and they come in with a record of 2-0. On the other side, Phil, Maryville comes in with a record of 0-3, and they have played some very tough opponents. You know a little more about these opponents than I do. Berry, Center, and Hanover. And this game at Center was just a 5-point loss, 27-22. So what do you foresee, and you've seen these teams before, how they work their schedules?
Well, spoke to head coach Bill Kyatt earlier this week on the weekly Tornado Talk show, and he could not emphasize enough how this record is not indicative of who Maryville is. The same thing occurred with Maryville last season. Winless through the non-conference portion of the schedule, then runs the table in the conference side of things and ends up winning the USA South. It's a calculated strategy by the coaches at Maryville that they want to toughen up their team. They want to play quality non-conference opponents, which they did again this year, all with the end goal of being 100% and also ready for conference play. Now, Maryville was number 2 in the preseason coaches poll for the USA South, so certainly the coaches throughout the conference realize how talented this Maryville team is, and certainly I think we have a very compelling matchup on our hands today, a 2-0 Brevard team against an 0-3 Maryville team.
And last year, of course, Brevard having just a few wins to the notch to their belt, but again, big wins for them, kind of turning this program around. I think the last 2 weeks have really showed what they can put on the field and have started to gel. You're right. It's opposite of what most coaches would do. If you look at college football in the present, most non-conference stuff, or what they call the kitty cat games, are the first 3-4 weeks, and then you go to conference play and you've already won 40-9 or 50-9 or 79-0, and then you finally get to an opponent, and that's what everybody waits to see. Kind of a reverse role here, and I like that for the Scots. Let's play, and it's always been said, the better team you play, the better you play. So if they have played these 3 tough teams, they may be out here ready to go, and, their feeling is we're going to punch you right in the mouth, and we're going to try to do the same thing we did last year. Brevard's going to have to stop this quickly and early.
Now, talking to Coach Kyatt, he likened Christopher Newport in many ways to Maryville as well. Similar programs in terms of their culture and their tradition and sort of this idea of, scheduling up And I think that victory against Christopher Newport certainly, makes you feel good about Brevard heading into today's matchup. Hey, if anyone was handicapping that Christopher Newport game, they would have had Brevard as a serious underdog. And Brevard completely flipped the script and took care of Christopher Newport. I talked to a couple of the coaches before the game, and kind of the vibe I was getting, what they were trying to pick my mind about was, what is this year's Brevard team like compared to last year? And the bottom line is, this is a more talented, a more complete Brevard Tornadoes team, and I think this game against Maryville is going to be much more competitive than the 2018 result.
Looking at the stats, and of course, a lot of times you got to throw stats out the window in conference play because of the fact of who each team has played. Although Brevard has put up some serious stats over the last 2 weeks, some of the things that I've seen this year of the few games that I was able to do last year, you can tell the quarterback position, Cole feels very comfortable doing what he has done very, very well this year. Dylan Rouse emerged in that second week against Christopher Newport. A matter of fact, a couple of times he escaped, and I didn't see his number out there until late and found out it wasn't who I thought it was, and he starts to put up some numbers. So he now gets the lead back position. And then, of course, you look at the other thing. It's all about, too, how you can pin your opponent deep, flipping the field. And Jackson Youngblood has done a phenomenal job. Of 12 punts, he's had 7 inside the 20. So when you can make that opponent have to go the full distance or a good portion thereof, makes it a lot harder to get down the field.
Yeah, and Youngblood receiving some accolades for that very performance you're speaking of against Allen, named USA South Conference Special Teams Player of the Week, also selected to D3Football.com's Team of the Week, second straight week that the Tornadoes have had someone on that D3Football.com Team of the Week. So Jackson Youngblood, certainly, like you said, flipping the field position with those effective punts inside the 20.
Now, even though we talked a little bit about some moisture, it's a very, very light rain. I don't know if it'll have an effect at first. If it continues throughout the game, and if at any point it gets a little harder, we may see more of a run game. And I would have to favor Brevard in the run game. They've got 2 backs that really can get out there, really move. As we mentioned, Rouse doing a great job. Cole also a running quarterback. On the other side, they've got one guy in bunch that can really run as well. So look for him. He averages about 6.6 yards in his receiving, so he can come out of the backfield effectively on the pass as well as running. And, of course, in running, he's averaging about 76 yards a game. In the passing category for the Scott's team, it's really kind of hard to say because both quarterbacks, Smith is 20 of 35, Thomas is 15 of 35, but 3 interceptions. They're only averaging about 56 and 35 yards respectively a game, so they don't throw the ball much, or they got into a defensive situation where they really couldn't throw the ball. That could be the thing, too. Hard to say without being able to see stats on all those 3 games.
Well, and again, speaking with the coaches before the game, a 2-quarterback system. We'll see, different quarterbacks depending on the series and situation. They felt like they won't be changing quarterbacks like mid-series so much, but, one possession with one guy, then on to the next. And, we'll see what happens. But, certainly a compelling matchup on paper if you look at the X's and O's in this matchup, and can't wait to see how it all shakes out.
Bringing the players out onto the field. We'll get ready for our national anthem here shortly. Also coming out on the field now is the Maryville Scots players. So we're just about set to go. Want you to keep it tuned in right here, bctornadoes.com. We'll be back with the call of the kick coming up in just a few minutes right here. Welcome back, everybody, as we get set for our kickoff. Of course, your Tornadoes will be in the blue with the gray jerseys and the blue numbers today. Scots coming in the all-white with the light gray numbers on their uniforms and with a gray background today. Maybe tough at times to see who's out there, but we'll bring you the best we can right here at bctornadoes.com. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget the Facebook page, the Twitter account, as well as Instagram and many other social media. And don't forget, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, to make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. That way you'll know anytime that Brevard is doing something with their sports on their YouTube channel or other things, and you can catch those as you will get a notification, whether you're using your iPad, your computer, or your cell phone. Captains are meeting at the 50-yard line under the light rain here in the gray skies. The lights on here at the ballpark, and of course most of the folks have brought their rain gear with them today. They've got the umbrellas, some of them got the pop-up tents, and like I said, it's the first time 60 degrees or less. The coin toss has been flipped, and we'll see which way they're going. I believe the Scots won the toss, and I think they are going to receive. Or maybe Brevard won the toss, and they deferred. That's what it was.
That's right, Chuck.
Brevard has won the toss. They have deferred. The Scots will receive, so Brevard will kick off. And on offense, again, for the Scots, we'll see that dual threat at quarterback. They've got Trevor Thomas. Now, they're not big quarterbacks either. This was kind of surprising. And I was watching during warm-ups. He's a sophomore. He's 6 foot tall, but he's only $160, so he is not a big quarterback by any means. Tall, kind of thin-like. Behind him will be Drew Blair. Now, the freshman is 6'2" and $185, so a little bit bigger. But both of them, if you look at quarterbacks, a lot of times in college you'll see guys in the 6 foot area, but they'll be close to 200 pounds. We'll see how these two handle themselves with that defense that the Tornadoes bring at you, and they love to bring Williams, Crawford, and Bass. They'll go 3-4, and I'll tell you what, they hit hard. And those big guys up front are going to have to handle that. Lehman, Larson, Harris, Montgomery, and Britton left to right will be the offensive line for either Thomas or Blair. And behind him will be Jacob Bunch or Rodney Murray, the two tailbacks. And they'll work with 3 wide receivers and a tight end in Terry Stewart. Just about set to kick this one away from the 35-yard line, and 2 deep for the Scots, standing at around their 10-yard line. Doing the kick returning will be Shamar Collier and Pierre Watkins. Collier and Watkins, like I said, about the 10. And we are just about ready to go. Here's the boot. It's a long one, end over end to the corner. Caught at the 3, bobbled, falls back into the end zone, picks it up and brings it out, which is unusual, but we'll go with it. And he gets hit hard at the 12-yard line and knocked down immediately, and I believe ball out. Or are they going to say he was down? No, they're going to say he was down. So ball did squirt a little bit, like I said. Field may be a little wet already. Ball may be a little wet already, and tough one there to handle. And I was really surprised that Watkins brought that ball out after having to go back into the goal line to get it.
And in the pregame show, we talked special teams. We talked about Jackson Youngblood. Damon Hewitt, a kickoff specialist, has done a nice job this year as a freshman, and certainly on that kickoff return coverage, setting up some difficult field position for Maryville.
So they'll start 1st and 10 from their 12-yard line, and they will go with the 2 wide receivers set. And before we even get started, we have whistles. And I see a ref counting, and a flag is being thrown. Somebody has too many guys on the field. How do you start opening play? He's still counting. I see 11 for both sides, so I'm not sure. So maybe he's going to pick up the flag. Yeah, he is. Okay. So apparently the referee maybe had one too many mimosas this morning. I don't know. He saw a 12th player that's not there. Flag thrown, no foul, no penalty. They'll pick it up and we'll start again. 1st and 10 from the 12. I think he just wanted to check his whistle, actually. All right, here we go. So we'll go with the tailback, the 2 wide. Tight end off the edge on the right-hand side in the slot. Turn around, we're going to hand off, go with the run over the right guard. Out across the 16-yard line is the big back Murray. And Murray will pick up just a few. Or Bunch, my apologies. Williams the third in on the tackle. Ball placed right around the 16-yard line, it looks like. And they'll go with the same set now. They'll move the tailback off to the right side of the QB. Calls for it and then stops and looks to the sideline. Again, checks. And Brooks the middle. The throw to the outside corner. Got his man at the 21. Ripped down and thrown down. Nicely done. He'll be short of the first down marker, but a great job there on the outside by the corner. Watkins again will be the wide receiver on the right-hand side. On the other side, it'll be Collier or Gentry.
Quinton Jackson with that tackle to hold Maryville just short of that first down, 3rd and short.
They picked the toughest guy on the team to throw to first. Interesting strategy here for the Scots as they go 3 to the right side. They'll run up the middle, though, and they will get the first down. Big run there. Nice hole, but the offensive line clearing a spot there and coming right through there is Jacob Bunch. He is a big kid, 6'1", 210 pounds. Low center of gravity, gets that ball out to the 30 for a first down. This time he'll send his 2 wide receivers to the left. Turn around, hand off again. Breaks 1 tackle, gets out to the 35, picking up about 5 more yards. Now they've got Jacob Bunch for the 8-yard run in the last 3rd down situation. This time it is a 2nd down. They'll place that ball around the 34-yard line. This time, Bunch picking up another 5. Brings up 2nd down. 3 wide to the right side. Little bubble pass to Bunch at the 30, to the 35. Wrestled down. Shoulder tackle made right there at the line at the 35. Maybe give him a gain of about 1. And for Brevard, nice tackle there, making it a 3rd down. So the Tornado defense trying to get things going. 3rd and 4, ball on the 36. And Caden Harbin is the quarterback here so far for this first series. He's listed as a linebacker on the sheet. Unless they've flipped numbers, he is number 2. At 12 is what the number is for Trevor Thomas. But I did see a 12, so maybe Harbin is the QB today. He's being rushed. He's going to be pulled down, and he's going to be sacked in the backfield, back at around the 23-yard line. A big sack there. And Kennedy comes in, and he got through there quickly. No problem at all. No pressure up front. He splits the middle and just comes right back in and pulls the QB down for a loss. We'll bring up a 4th and 13. Ball will go all the way back to the 23. And that'll be an opportunity now to see if Brandon Norris can return one and get things going across midfield. He's back at his own 35. The punt goes wide to the right. Fair catch being called for at the 46-yard line is where Norris will grab it, fall down. And Brevard will take over. They'll mark it at the 46, 1st and 10. So they did not have Harbin listed as a quarterback here, Phil, and I'm not sure if they switched a jersey or not. Thomas was in number 12. He was warming up earlier. I did see a 2 warming up, but the other quarterback is supposed to be wearing 16. So
did get word from our statistician that indeed number 2 Harbin is a quarterback as well as a linebacker, and that's indeed the man, Harbin.
Well, he's in the game today to start the first quarter. A low pass there from Dalton to start things off. It is complete for about maybe 6 yards. So Scales Jr. on the outside makes that catch, and a low throw there and just in time because that defensive back on that far right side just about got his hands on that ball. Be 2nd and about 4. So they're using their 3rd QB here this season so far for the Scots. He has no stats whatsoever as a QB earlier. The run from the back, maybe out to about the 47-yard line as they cross midfield. They'll pick up a couple of yards there. So the Brevard drive starts at the 10:51 mark here in the first quarter. No score. First offensive possession for them today, as they sack the quarterback for the Scots on a 3rd and short. Cole goes into the shotgun, gives the handoff, hit in the backfield immediately, nowhere to go, and that run pass option play should have been pulled back, and he did not pull it back, and unfortunately Turner's wrapped up, and boy, he got yanked quickly. He should have kept that ball and turned and went the other way.
Yeah, Jamal Ware, the senior linebacker, with a big tackle for loss there to thwart the Tornadoes' attack, and it's a punt situation now for Brevard.
So he reads that play very well, gets into the backfield. He almost got the handoff. Rolling soccer style kick there, end over end's going to bounce, take a Brevard bounce, and too far as it bounces right into the end zone. And the Scots will get their second offensive possession here with 9:03 on the clock. Still no score in the homecoming game here for Brevard. The Tornadoes will be on the road next week. They will travel to Methodist, and then they're back home in 2 weeks, and they will take on Huntington, and that is a 1 o'clock start in a couple of weeks. So the afternoon game here today, a late afternoon game, and then, of course, the next 2 games at 1 o'clock, and we'll see how the Tornadoes continue their winning ways, and can they continue their winning ways here this afternoon. Referees have finally marked the ball down. I'm not sure what the discussion was on the far side, but it took them a little while, but now they finally placed the ball at 20. The ball bounced into the end zone. I don't know what the discussion was for. Tornadoes go with the 3-4 defense against the 2 wide to the outside. Quarterback keeper to the outside he goes. He'll get a couple of yards there as he gets knocked down at about the 23-yard line. And again, nice little run there. Quinton Jackson having to pull him down after a couple of yards for the gain. So interesting story here is that we start with a quarterback who we don't really have any idea what this kid can do until he starts going today. There's a little bubble screen behind the line of scrimmage and caught in the backfield. And that is going to be for a loss at about the 19-yard line to the Tornadoes, coming up quickly from the corner position here on the near side. What a great grab.
Andreas Wyatt with that open field tackle. Again, speaking with the coaches on the defensive side of Brevard, open field tackling a real key as Maryville utilizes a short passing game.
Well, they went with a screen there. They lost yardage on the play. It'll drop them back now to a 3rd and a long 11 as they put a man in motion, and they'll go 4 wide. Rolling to his right, looking to throw over the top. Got a man down the middle, and he's going to short hop it and just missed his receiver again. He was going for Pierre Watkins long, and he was about 2 yards short.
Yeah, and Quinton Jackson there. Quinton Jackson's been a ball hawk for the Tornadoes. All sorts of interceptions over his seasons with the Tornadoes, and had a hand on the ball there, it looked like, and could have come up with another one.
Well, they do what they call a bracket. That means a guy high and a guy low, and they kind of barricade him in, so it's a safety over the top, and that is exactly where he helps out in that area. And, of course, you got Anderson and Ross back there on the safety and free safety positions. Quinton Jackson, like you said, ball hog all alone. There's a flag already before we get started again, and I'm not sure what this one's about, but it is going to be an offsides against the Scots. It's going to be a 5-yard penalty, so it's going to put the punter now back in his own end zone, which should give a big opportunity here for a really nice return. Brandon Norris standing down here at the 50 right now. I mean, he is probably going to be on that side of the 50. Here's the boot. It's going to go to the right side, a fair catch, and then he waved it off. But the ball went out of bounds, and let's see where they mark it. They say it went out at the 49-yard line of the Scots. So Brevard going to start their second possession on the other side of the 50 to get things started.
Yeah, certainly all created by that 3-and-out by the Brevard defense. Big play there on that 3rd down play to, force a punt for Maryville. Big open field tackle earlier in that series by Andreas Wyatt, and bottom line is Tornadoes in Maryville territory.
Cole's third turn goes to his left, hands off. That ball will be run out for about 3-4 yards. They'll mark him just shy of the 45. Let's put the ball on the 46 of the Scots. And again, they kind of line up with that offset eye. Actually, 3 guys in that position. They send one in as kind of like a fullback, then the running back, and then the tailback about 6 yards back. And it's the third guy to get the ball and hands off and picks up 4. Call it a second down and a long 6. Ball on the 46 of the Scots with 7:19 left to go here. First quarter of play, no score. Cole in motion, flips to the wide receiver, coming to the right side, cuts back inside, going to get to the 45. Not going to get much on that play. Almost broken up there quickly and almost broken up early, and really kind of got lucky on that return to get it across to the 45-yard line, because it should have been a loss of a couple.
Yeah, that was Rouse making something out of nothing there, and making it a third and manageable here for the Tornadoes.
When I saw him 2 weeks ago, he reminds me the way he runs. I was calling him beast mode, because he was just really, he's stocky, 5'10", 210, big thighs, and he can really motor, carries guys with him. So he's the type of guy that can make something out of nothing. The long throw down the field, and unfortunately over the head of the intended receiver, who had one-on-one coverage, and it looks like he had scales again. And Cortez, 6'4", the big man, 190, just too much and a little too far over his head. He needed about another 5 yards. What Cole has to learn to do is kind of loft that ball a little more, let your receiver get underneath and run to that ball, rather than, especially on a long pass like that. Boy, that punt may have been partially blocked. Big signal for a fair catch there at about the 17, but it sure did sound like there was a little bit of a hit in the way the ball moved. It may have been the reason, too, is that ball moved and wiggled a little bit. So the Scots will now take over their third possession here. With 6:22 left to go, 1st and 10, they're going to mark that ball at the 18. Phil's got a guest with us.
Yeah, in fact, we have a newly inducted Brevard College Hall of Famer, Coach Mike Jones.
Hall of Famer.
That's right.
That's odd to hear.
Coach, thanks for joining the broadcast.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
If you can hang with us a little bit here, we're going to let our man Chuck take us through the play-by-play, but we'll squeeze in some questions and let folks get to know you a bit here.
He goes with 2 wide. It's a handoff, and it breaks out to the left tackle. Gets outside, finds himself a little running room. Finally knocked down at about the 23-yard line.
Well, for those who might not be familiar, Coach Mike Jones, 12 years as the Tornadoes head men's basketball coach beginning in 1999, 3 national championships, 98% graduation rate of his players at Brevard College. And after this next play, we'll hear from Coach Jones.
Splitting him up again, 3 wide. He'll go with 2 to the wide side. Near hash mark here. In the shotgun. Turn around, fakes the handoff, looking to throw, being rushed, flushed out of the pocket to the right side, throws. Got short of the 35-yard line, but enough for a first down for the Scots. And there's that short passing attack you talked about, Phil.
Well, Coach, welcome to the homecoming football game. How's the weekend been so far for you?
Fantastic. It was really great last night. A lot of fun event. Obviously honored to be a part of that and to be inducted last night. And then had about 15 guys that showed up this morning, 11, and played a little pickup basketball today. So good day.
3 wide again as they'll bring him to the left, and they'll move the man in motion. And he'll go right side with the run. Oh, broken tackle there through the line. He just about got tripped up, though, at about the 38-yard line.
And, Coach, I'm certainly all sorts of memories coming back to you this weekend. Overall, what did Brevard College mean to you?
Well, it really, I mean, this was, I'd been a head coach at a 2-year school prior to this up in Kentucky, and so this was my first 4-year head coaching position. So, nothing will replace that as far as what it meant to me professionally.
3 wide receivers set again, and Harbin looking to throw. This time, no handoff up the middle. Again, right through the middle. And, boy, Jacob Bunch picking up yardage like with no problem at all, like a freight train running right through the middle of the line. Pushes that ball close to the 48-yard line, but we have a player down for Brevard. Helmet is off, so he has to sit out at least one play, but then he goes down. Now he'll get up and walk himself off the field.
Jaquan George, the injured player, but looks like he's going to be all right. And, Coach, you're still in the coaching profession.
I
You're
am.
not too far away at a high school in South Carolina. Can you tell us what you're up to these days?
Absolutely. Well, I retired in my mind, at least, from coaching about 3 years ago, and took a year off, and was contacted by the school down in South Carolina, Easley, which is literally just right on the other side of the mountain from us right now.
Yeah, in that Greenville, Spartanburg area,
Right.
not too far away.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
2 wide receivers set as they look to the sideline once again. Ball is in play here at about the 48-yard line of the Scots. Maryville trying to get something across midfield. Bunch again, and he is picking up yards in bunches right now as he will cross midfield, get into Brevard territory, and he is brought down at about the 47-yard line.
Now, Coach, last night at the banquet, we also
Yeah.
talked to one of your former players, Donald Hudson.
Yeah.
Now, Coach Hudson, who's now the women's basketball coach at Brevard, was a dual sport athlete.
He
He played
was.
football and basketball, very prolific at both. Maybe after this play, if you can tell us a little more
Absolutely.
about Coach Hudson.
No question.
They continue to run pretty much the same way, either 2 wide to the left or the 3 wide receivers set. This time they'll go with 2 wide. They continue to run the ball. What's working well for them is Bunch just crashing through the line. I think the big right side of that line, 285, 275, and Brevard's going to have to maybe start to bring more guys up into the box.
Going back to what you said about Coach Hudson, Donald did play 2 sports. He was a basketball, football guy. He was not alone. There was Michael Giss. He also came up with Donald from the Augusta area. Donald's the one that really stuck with basketball throughout it, and, of course, was a member of that 2010 team that won the South Atlantic Conference.
Outstanding. And we're thrilled to have him as part of our coaching
Absolutely.
staff now at Brevard.
Tremendous young man.
Harbin continues in the shotgun. They hand off again, this time to the left side, but nicely done on the blitz there and snuck out and getting inside quickly for a no gain. A good job there by the Tornado defense.
Open field tackle there by Toby Naylor. Toby Naylor, by the way, is from England. Coach, did you ever mine Europe, for
Absolutely.
college basketball
Had
players?
several overseas guys throughout my time, from everywhere from South Africa to several of the African nations, England, Norway, Denmark. We had several.
Double wide receiver set, rolling to his right is Harbin, looking that way, found his man inside, maybe got to the 30. We'll see if they mark it inside, little shy. And that's a true story, Coach. I can tell you that for a fact. I've been doing a lot of college basketball, soccer. There is a lot of foreign students that come across. Did you have that same familiarity of you knew their last name inside and out, or did you just call them AJ or BJ or whatever the case may be?
It depends on where they were from, no question. One of the good stories about one of my foreign kids, it was right when I got here in 99. We got him over here as a freshman, graduated, has gone on to a tremendous degree, but his dad was the press secretary for Desmond Tutu.
Wow.
And so I've got a picture of Desmond Tutu wearing a Brevard College basketball T-shirt.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
A little delay here for something, not exactly sure why, but they are just a little shy of that first down marker. He'll play 2 again to the wide side. Handoff, trying to go to the right tackle position, this time stacked at the line, but looks like they're going to give him the 29-yard line, which would mean first down, and that is the signal here from the near judge, and he has signaled for first and 10 now. Ball placed inside that 30-yard line.
Yeah, just taking a little time to move the chains there, but now here they go. So indeed a first down and a very methodical drive here by Maryville.
Well, they continue to pound that ball with Bunch and Murray with a couple of carries there as well. And they continue to run that right side. Like I said, their right side is stacked with some pretty good size in the right side alone. They've got one guy at 285, 6'2". The right tackle is 6'4", 270. I mean, that's almost NFL-size guys on the line. And you can see how big they do, and then they'll move their tight end to that same side as well to help. There's a blitz from the outside. The pass is complete, though. Inside, tackled, made. They'll mark him down close to that first down marker. If they put him on the 20, it'll be another first down. And they're going to be just a little shy as Jackson able to hold him off of probably a second and about 6 inches. And boy, the Scots, with 7 seconds left here in the first quarter, can they get the play off? They do. It is a run to the right side through the middle, picking up about 4 yards, and that'll be the end of the first quarter. No score here, and we'll switch ends.
And Coach Jones, again, just to tell folks, exactly what went down this weekend as part of this homecoming weekend. Last night, a big event at the Porter Center, Hall of Fame inductions for Brevard College athletics. Yourself and also Jeff Campbell, who is a prolific cross-country and track and field runner. Guy Payne, who has a rich history over 4 decades as gym supervisor at Boshemer Gymnasium, and also Dick Gardner winning the Distinguished Alumni Award. Just an amazing night. And,
really was.
And just overall thoughts, Coach, being part of that last night.
Just feel really blessed, to be honest with you. It's hard to put it into words exactly. Guy Payne, for instance, was very helpful and instrumental when I was here, getting me settled in. Was a guy that was always around and did stuff to help everybody. So I had a really great relationship with him. To have Sheila Simmons, that I've literally known for my entire professional career, be the one to introduce me, makes it special. To have Miranda as now the athletic director, Donald as a coach here, Lee I've known for years. There's just so many people here still on this campus and in this community that I am continue to be in touch with and talk to. So to come back and have them here, my entire family came in. Just a really special night for me personally.
Yeah, and I know a lot of your former players traveled
they sure did.
From far and wide to come and be part of that special night. Coach, thanks for joining the broadcast.
Thank you all so
and congratulations on a well-deserved Brevard College Athletics Hall of Famer. We can now
really
call you that
appreciate
now.
It. That's right. Thank you so much.
Scots again. We'll start with the tailback in the one position and a handoff, and we'll get about maybe a yard or two as they'll move that ball up. Well, actually, they're going to give them a little more than that. Looks like they're going to move that ball to about the 12-yard line, where it'll bring up a second down situation for the Scots as we get underway here in the second quarter. Still no score, but the Scots now threatening here to start the second quarter, which is unusual. Both teams, though, really didn't put up a lot of points in the first quarter in their games that they've played so far this year. Most of the points for Brevard have come in the second half. Matter of fact, outscoring their opponent 40-some to 6. So we'll see if they can continue that way. Maryville fakes the handoff, little bubble screen, 15-yard line, caught at the 10, spins out of a tackle, falls forward to about the 3-yard line, and that is where they'll mark it down. Wyatt brings him down, but it'll now be a first and goal as the ball will be placed at the 3-yard line. And Maryville, most likely, you would think running play here, you would think bunch. So we'll see if Brevard will stack the line here with 4, if not 5, maybe 6 guys. Looks like they're kind of set up for a man, but again, the linebacker's up close to the line of scrimmage. And Harbin about 5 yards deep. Handoff, bunch. Breaks one tackle, breaks another, falls forward. Did he get across? We'll see. No signal yet. Believe he's going to be just shy of the goal line as he continued to move the legs and move the legs and move the legs. He's finally brought down there in a big bunch up. Looks like Lewis Williams was the one that helped keep him from going across the goal line there. They'll set it up again with Bunch in the backfield. It'll be a handoff faked. Quarterback keeper, and boy, he is hit and met quickly by about 4 gray jerseys, and the first one in there is going to be Dante Anderson, the free safety, and he hit him big time. And that'll bring up a third down situation. It's 3rd and goal for Maryville. The ball placed at about the 1 yard line with 12:43 left to go here in the second quarter. No score yet, and the light rain continues to fall here at Brevard Memorial Stadium. Harbin and Bunch in the backfield. Whistles blow before we get play started. And I believe we're going to get a timeout. And it is going to be charged to Brevard. So no score yet. So Caden Harbin comes in at quarterback today. He's listed on the roster, like I said, as a linebacker. He's 6'2", 210. He's actually out of Knoxville, Tennessee. He's from Halls High School. I thought the name sounded familiar, being I lived in Knoxville for a little while myself. But, you know, when you see a roster, you see a too-deep roster, and then all of a sudden you see another number in there, you usually think, well, maybe there was a jersey switch or something of that nature. But no, apparently he's the quarterback on the bench, and maybe they were trying to get the other 2 quarterbacks some time in to be prepared for the next couple of years. Is Harbin their guy that they go with? We'll see. The other 2 quarterbacks have not come out on the field whatsoever. It has been Harbin and Bunch in the backfield as the single tailback. They go heavy on the left side of the line, and now they'll switch and try to go to the right side. That's the way the run will go. Harbin will keep trying to get inside. Got hit. Did he break the tie? Yes, he did. And I believe he got in. The signal is touchdown. He got hit right at the goal line. They just couldn't bring him down all the way, and he crosses the goal line, and Maryville will get up first with a 6-0 lead at the 12:20 mark here in the second quarter. And now they'll bring their kicker out. Ian Hubbs is the guy doing the kicking today. And the snap is good. The kick is up, and it is also good, and it is a 7-0 lead. So they finally put some points on the board, and of course it is a touchdown run by Caden Harbin from about 1 yard out. The extra point is good. It's 7-0, and we'll be back in just a moment here on bctornadoes.com. Maryville gets the ball to set up at the 35 for the boot. It's just an end over end. It's a short kick picked up by one of the upmen at the 25-yard line to the 30. Got a little bit of a seam trying to get outside as they try to tackle the ball. He'll be brought down at the 35, and flags will fly at the end of that play. Usually coming from a back judge like that means somebody got hit in the back. So the extra yardage that was picked up there will probably be counted off against Brevard. So the ball is placed at the 36, and the referee points out the yellow flag, and they begin to walk the other way. And the flag was thrown at about the 31, so they'll walk off. 10-yard penalty and the block in the back. And the referee has been kind enough to give us an extra yard. Because he's marked the ball at the 22. Should have been at the 21, but maybe they pointed at the 32, not the 31. Either way, Brevard will start 1st and 10 on their own 22-yard line, and they'll go 2 wide to the right side, 1 to the near side. Tailback in the backfield will get it here. Kicks it out to the outside, gets grabbed at the 20, spins out of one tackle, falls forward, picking up about a yard, and boy, it just cannot get any motion out of the backfield whatsoever.
And it's critical that the Tornadoes get a first down or two here after Maryville, a 16-play, 82-yard drive that chewed up 9 minutes. Got to keep that defense on the sidelines and get them a breather here.
The biggest thing is, if you can't get off the field on third down, you're out there for a long time. It's really tough to have your offense go out and go 3 and out and get your defense back out there and expect them to perform. Another flag thrown here on the run at the 22. I believe this is going to go against the Scots. Looked to me like there might have been a slight face mask in there. We're waiting for the call. Here comes. And no, it's going to be against Brevard. Well, there's 2 calls, so 2 maybe unsportsmanlike. Both of them will offset each other is what looks like the call is going to be. So to me, it looked like on the first grab by the defender that he got a piece of the face mask of the runner, but they're saying no, and 2 offsetting penalties. So we'll replay it. 1st and 10 from the 22. It's kind of like a redo. And they'll set it up again same way. He'll go with 2 wide to the right, 1 to the left. Splits his backs in the backfield. Cole looking for the long throw down the middle. Oh, there's a bump. Got to have a flag there. Got to have a flag. Oh, wow. I can't believe nothing.
Ralph Roman III for the Tornadoes, certainly in position for what could have been a touchdown strike from Cole. Definite contact, but no flag.
Yeah, he definitely interfered with his route. I mean, he got right in front of him, and Roman ran into him. And if you run into the defender who's backpedaling, it's usually the defender's fault. I'm surprised. He got up saying, hey, give me the flag, and never thrown. So it'll bring up a 3rd. Again, looking to throw. Cole backing up. He's got time in the box. And again, going long. He's got Roman deep. Again, he was pushed, and it's still no flag again. Boy, talk about letting them play.
Actually, Jamariel Parks that time deep for the Tornadoes, and same sort of scenario as the last play.
When you push off, if you extend the arm at any point fully, they usually throw the flag, but he didn't throw it. We do have an injured Maryville player down around the 25, 26-yard line. But, boy, that's 2 plays. That one a little more easy to see, at least from our vantage point. And then 2 refs right down there looking right at that play going on the whole time. But, again, no call. To be interesting. Couldn't see Coach's reaction down there on the sideline. He is talking to the ref here on the sideline, but not sure why it hasn't been called yet, unless they were both getting a little handsy all the way down. Then sometimes the ref will say, okay, we're going to let them play.
In back to that first down where there were flags on both sides, for some reason the down and distance changed, and we lost a down and all that. It's 4th down now. So 2nd and 3rd down plays, those deep shots that come up empty.
Yeah, that down would have been done. Even though they're offsetting penalties, it should have moved it down to 2nd, and they didn't do it. So it is 4th down, and we'll have to punt away from behind the 10-yard line. He got a good boot on it. Cross midfield, caught there at about the 43-yard line, and immediately a good open field tackle. Good job by Brevard to get the kicking team down there. Youngblood gives them enough time by keeping that ball high in the air. That ball went about 45 yards.
Yeah, just tough break for Brevard on that last series. 2 deep balls. Both of them look like they could have resulted in a huge touchdown plays. Definite contact, no flags thrown. You have no choice but to live with the result now. Now it's back on the Tornado defense after a long 16-play, 82-yard, 9-minute drive that Maryville used for that go-ahead score. And the Tornadoes defense has got to dig deep now.
Yeah, they were only on the sideline for about a minute and a half, give or take, and that is not a lot of time after a 9-minute, play drive that they had against them the last time. That ball thrown a little long over the receiver's head, a little too far as he goes deep on the far side, and it's a good thing. Boy, he puts that ball on the fingertips. That receiver's got a step on the defender and could have been trouble down the sideline there.
Yeah, deep shot from Harbin, and we did get a little more information on Harbin. A converted linebacker, indeed. Coaches decided he was, in fact, the best option heading into this game, and did have some quarterback experience in high school. A transfer from East Tennessee State University.
Okay. He went to Halls High School, did play some quarterback there, wasn't a starting quarterback. I remember that, but I do remember the name being brought up numerous times on the news or in the paper in following some of the Knoxville schools. But, yeah, well, the two quarterbacks, as I mentioned, stat-wise, in the categories, we get our second sack of the day back at the 40-yard line. Nowhere for him to go there, and, boy, they roll him up quickly. And that is Brandon Crawford who gets in there. And that is a big sack. It'll bring up a third down at the 42-yard line. And, boy, they just kind of sandwiched him in there, Phil.
And did the Tornadoes ever need that after that long drive on that last possession? And now a third and long, approximately 3rd and 15 for the Scots. And big time play there by Crawford.
Well, most likely, and I'm going to say he's going to throw. He's got 4 wide receivers set right now as he'll move one in motion. And so we'll split them 2 on either side. Dropping, looking to throw. Little screen pass to Bunch at the 40, 45, brought down. He'll be shy of the 47-yard line, and he'll be way shy of that first down. But it gives you a little more field position for your punter to try to flip the field and pin Brevard deep, depending on, how well Trey Hampton can boot this ball.
And good example of open field tackling again for the Tornadoes. Isaac Crisp that time coming up from the safety position. Big play there on that third down and forcing this punt for the Scots.
Well, here's one where they would really like to get an opportunity for a good return. Set up good field position as Norris stands at about his 20-yard line. There's the end-over-end spiraling kick. Backing up, Norris calling for the fair catch, and a good thing he did. He had 3 white jerseys right on top of him there at the 21. That's where Cole and company will start. 1st and 10. Problem they've had is it's been 3 and out, or 4 or 5 and out. They haven't been able to get a successful drive going very well yet. They need to stay on the field for a little bit. They need to give their defense a little bit of time. Good job on the defense after you said that 9-minute drive to be able to get off the field very quickly there on that set.
Yeah, first downs in this game. Scots 8, Tornadoes 0.
There's another run up the middle, and they'll get out to about the 25, and then a little extra pushing and shoving there. And the referee immediately comes over and says, enough is enough. The play's over. The whistle blew. Well, they move the ball to the 25, so they do pick up a few yards, and they call it 2nd and 5. And let's see if they can get a couple of first downs here. That's what they really need to do. Again, man in motion. Swing pass, 25-yard line, and grabbed immediately, nowhere to run to, and they really double-team well there. They set up a man. They bring up the free safety, and he's able to wrap up the tackle there at the end of that, and nothing doing.
Tornadoes 0 for 3 on 3rd down thus far. This is a big one here, 3rd and a long 3.
Yeah, they give him a couple of yards there. I'm really kind of surprised because it looked to me like he caught that ball right at the 25 and was knocked back, but they give him the 27-yard line. And now we'll go with the 5 wide receiver set. Cole looking to throw across the seam. Got tipped but caught at the 32. Is it enough? No, they're going to say it hit the ground. Boy, that was a great grab there. One referee is spotting that ball, though, at the 32-yard line. So maybe they're going to come together and talk about it. Looked to me like maybe he did get his hand underneath the ball. We don't have the advantage, unfortunately, of replay.
Jamariel Parks, kind of an acrobatic sort of circus-like play, and in fact, incomplete. Looks like the ball may have touched the ground there, but what an effort by Parks.
That was something else. We, for those of you that might have been watching the Thursday night game the other night, you saw something like that happen. They went to the replay booth, and the ball was caught. It was an unbelievable catch, but they're going to move the ball back. Resetting the clock is what they're wanting. They moved the ball to the 27-yard line.
8:15 on the clock there. It looks like we're all set there, and it's going to be another punt. So now the Tornadoes 0 for 4 on third down. Again, some kind of a little bit of hard luck here on a couple of these plays, these last two series.
They've had trouble with third downs this year offensively. 37% isn't bad for your third down ratio, but you want that a little higher. I mean, they're 2 for 2 on fourth down situations. They're not going to go for it. Now a timeout is being taken, and I believe that the Scots may have taken this timeout. I don't know if Coach would, you're early in the game per se, in the middle of the second quarter. You need about 4 yards. But, boy, if you turn one over and give Maryville a short field to work with, man, that really could hurt you. So I'm guessing that Youngblood comes out and boots his ball as far as he can. He's been averaging a little over 40-plus yards a game on the kick. So, again, it would take a really good boot to pin him deep, as their return man will set up probably just inside his 40. He does. He'll maybe back it up a little bit. What you got to hope for is maybe one that'll bounce a little bit. But he gets it over his head. Wow, nicely booted on, and takes the bounce the other way. Now bounces back, and he does get one inside the 20. You cannot complain about that roll. Jackson Youngblood, what is this guy about?
55, 60 yards, somewhere in that neighborhood. Just an incredible boot by Jackson Youngblood, the reigning USA South Special Teams Player of the Week, just absolutely unloads on that punt.
Trying to get the award the second week in a row. You're right, unloaded was unreal. When you can boot it over the returner's head, who turns around and then has to watch, you can't go after it and chase after it. And, of course, Brevard down there quickly to chase it down. They'll start 1st and 10 from their own 15. Great bunt. Now they'll try to run inside. Now trying to go to the outside edge. He'll take the seam, maybe get just inside the 20 or maybe to the 20. Let's see where they mark it. Yeah, it looks like a pickup of about 5 yards. Looks like they're going to mark that ball at the 20, and they do.
58-yard punt officially by Youngblood, a new career high for Jackson Youngblood, and certainly flipped the whole script here in terms of field position.
Yeah, yes, he did. Now, if you can hold them here, get a 3 and out, man, you have done your job. Again, Youngblood can save his team, and maybe Cole and company can get something going here before the half. It is only 7-0 right now. Scott's on top after a 9-minute drive to start the second quarter. Nowhere to go on the run there, and catching the tailback at about the 23-yard line. A couple of blue jerseys wrapping up what we needed to do there for a third down situation. And again, nicely done by the defense.
Toby Naylor leading the charge yet again, the freshman, certainly making an impact early on here in his collegiate career.
Second or third tackle today for Naylor, the inside linebacker, doing a great job there, reading the run. They'll set up with just 2 wide receivers. Harbin calls for the snap, looking to throw, being flushed out of the pocket, hit as he throws. Was it caught or not? Let's see if the referee makes the signal. If it is a first down. Ball just in front of the 30 at the 29. Great acrobatic catch there on the outside, and they say first down.
And another third down conversion for the Scots. While the Tornadoes still haven't hit one on third down, the Scots now 4 of 7 on third down.
Got to get off the field on third down, whether it's short or long distance. From the 29, again, a little bubble screen to the seam, nowhere to go down the sideline. Picking up maybe a yard or 2 on that play. They'll move it out in front of the 30 to the 32-yard line. Anderson with the tackle there as they play the far hash mark.
Under 6 minutes to play already in the second quarter. Maryville has chewed a lot of clock. They really take their time on each snap, it seems like, to try to run this clock down.
Well, in the 3 games that Brevard has played, and of course you have to throw out the first game, so in the 2 games they have really had the ball less time than the opponent and still been able to pull out a win. Not saying that that's what you want to do all the time, but again, still keeping themselves within a 1-score game is a very good job here, especially with this defense having to be on the field as much as they've been.
And another third down situation here. Big opportunity for the Tornado defense to get a stop here and get the ball back into the offense's hands.
Well, they're looking like they're going to stack the box for a blitz from the inside, maybe bring the outside linebacker this time on the far right. See which way they go, but you definitely got to be thinking they're going to hand the ball off. Now they'll shift a little bit, and they do bring the outside blitz. Chasing him back into his pocket. He's kind of a wobble throw, and he hits the yard marker, and the guy holding the yard marker, and out of bounds it goes. It'll bring up fourth down again. Give it up to the defense. It's the second time they've had to do it, Phil, and you can't keep depending on them to do that over and over and over. You've got to put some points on the board to help.
Yep, and that time, big pass rush led by Jerome Bass, who heavy pressure on the Scots QB, and big third down stop. So Tornadoes with just under 5 minutes to play until halftime will get another opportunity here and hopefully can get that offense generated.
Well, that's the one thing they haven't been able to do yet. They've had a couple of decent plays here and there, but nothing that they have strung together. Whoa, that was just about blocked. Waving for the fair catch again over at the 25-yard line. That's where we'll start 1st and 10, and Cole will bring the guys out. See if he can't get something going. Dalton, the sophomore, has had 2 really decent games over the last couple of weeks. Like I said, averaging about 197 yards a game. He was 23 of 39 with 1 interception, 2 touchdowns in those 2 games. But so far today, just hasn't been able to get anything to go yet.
Yeah, 3 of 7 in the air for Dalton so far. A couple of those deep shots, you could have gotten an interference call potentially, but that didn't happen, and now Dalton on the move.
Swings out of there, throwing with the left hand. There's a flag. It's a lame duck, but it's caught there at the 38-yard line. What a grab, and jeez. The only thing is, man, I don't like where the flag has come out. You see it way back here at the 23, 24-yard line, and the catch by Norris, and somehow, I don't know if it was when he threw and got hit a little bit or what it was, but if this is against the Scots, this is beautiful because it'll be tagged on at the end, and it is against the Scots because Brevard is walking that way, so that is a pass completion. The penalty will be declined, of course. The ball will be placed on the 40-yard line.
35-yard pass play. Just as we're talking, that Cole hadn't gotten it going yet. A beautiful rollout to his left, and then unleashes a bomb that Brandon Norris is able to cut back to and make the catch.
Yeah, boy, he had a defender right there with him, and the ball was kind of, as they say, lame ducking it, making its way down, and it looked a little scary. Direct snap back and a run up the right side, picking up a few yards, and then some extra pushing and shoving and a few more extra pushes and shoves before the referee gets into stop play. They'll pick up about maybe 2-3 yards on that carry as the ball is placed at the 37. So they pick up 3, 2nd down, 7 to go, 4 minutes to go here before the half. 7-0 lead for the Scots.
And Cole, that was his first rushing attempt just there. A side of his game that we've seen a lot this season, and see if that will continue to get going here on this drive.
Surprised they haven't run him more because he averages about 60 yards on the ground per game so far. There's a run up the middle again, back to the line of scrimmage. Nowhere really to go as the defensive end. Now, the Scots play a 4-3, and they play for the run. They know Brevard likes to run, so they're a little more equipped for that type of a defense in a 4-3 than a 3-4. What's going to happen is you're going to have to make your adjustments at halftime, and we'll see how Coach does that with the way his run game isn't going the way he wants it to. But if you can open up the run just a little more, you can get a few more on the 4-3, then you can start to throw the ball a little more, and maybe Cole will have a little more at ease, as I should say, or easier time throwing the ball than he has so far. Splits his backs on either side, stays in the shotgun, drops back, looking to throw. Got a man open wide on the wide side and knocked out at the 20-yard line. Again, a nice dime there, wide open, broken coverage. Cornerback came up thinking it was going to be a run, and this time Roman III finally gets his hands on the ball. We haven't heard a lot about this young man who was a star for this team last year, but maybe something going now. Like I said, you get the run going, and you make them come up a little bit. And that's what happened. The cornerback tried to sneak up a little bit, thinking run, and Dalton stood right there in the pocket. He had a beautiful pocket to throw from.
16-yard completion to Roman the third, first third down conversion of the game so far for the Tornadoes, who had opened 0 for 4 in that category.
1st and 10 from the 21, just about in the red zone. Cole being rushed out of the pocket, throws over to the right side, got his man, 20, 15, to the 10, shove again, and crossing the 5, and then the flag coming out at the end, and then another flag comes out from the back judge. We'll see what the penalties are, but the gain there is a 1st and goal if it stands, and that is going to be Henley, the tight end, who makes that great catch.
And you could see the bruising physical nature of Henley after the catch with the yards after contact.
6'2", 210 senior. The flag is against the Scots, so they will mark this half the distance to the goal line. This ball will be placed on the 2-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal with 2 minutes left to go. You have 4 shots to get into the end zone to tie the ball game.
This drive started all the way back on the Tornadoes' own 21-yard line. A very effective drive thus far.
It was a beautiful pass that got this all going. Somehow we ended up with it. And boy, I'll tell you what, that is really what has changed this drive. There's a keep, but a broken play there, and I believe it was the man in motion who stopped, and Cole got the snap, and when he went forward, the man in motion was in his way. So he really ran into his own guy, and he's going to lose a couple yards on that play. And that was Rouse who got in the way of Cole. He was the man in motion. He come across and stopped, and coach talking to him now. From the 4 as they lose a couple. To the right side. Did he get across? No signal yet, so he's going to be just shy of the goal line. That is Jamie Turner, and they're going to go quickly and go to the line as fast as possible. Cole trying to go behind his line, whistles blow. He does get around and gets in, but whistles blew before the snap. Was there a timeout called? And there was. The timeout is called by the Scots. So really, I mean, it was a great idea to try to go hurry up offense to get that, but unfortunately the second timeout is called.
Scoreboard, 3rd down.
So they'll have an opportunity here, 3rd and goal. Seven nothing lead. We've got 52 seconds left here in the first half. The Tornadoes with an opportunity here. That ball is going to be placed. Let me grab my binoculars here. Yeah, the ball is about 12 inches from the goal line. It's about the distance of the referee's shoe. So he didn't get in all the way, but on that last run. So can they tie it up here with 52 seconds to go? They've got 2 shots. I'm sure you've got to go for it if you don't get it here on 4th down. Cole grabbed, held on to, pulled down by the helmet. I don't know if he got onto the face mask or not. I didn't see a flag come out. But again, the offensive line doesn't hold up, and the defensive line, the first man in there gets through. Clock still rolling, 26 and counting, because of course play was a running play, so the clock doesn't stop. I don't know if Brevard has any timeouts left. If they do, they're not stopping it, or they're going to wait until it gets way down and try it on 4th down. Or will they try the kick, or will they try? And they're going to stop it at 6 seconds left to go. So he's going to go for the last play of the game before the half.
Yeah, and they were down on just the inches line, essentially, and you stated, Chuck, that, hey, you got to go for it if you don't make it here, but you lose 2 yards. It's a different decision now, 4th and goal from the 3. We'll see what Coach Kyatt draws up here.
I don't know if he's the gambling type. For the games that I've seen so far, I don't know if he's really the gambling type to go try to get this to go in at halftime. Again, remember that Damalos is just like almost phenomenal from, the extra point shot. And this will be even a little shorter than that.
Yeah, and so they're gonna take the 3 points. Make sure you got something to head into the locker room with.
Yeah, he's going to cut the lead in half, almost 7-3, and Damalos will kick from the 10. This will be about a 20-yard chip shot. Ooh, line drive and through the uprights for 3, even though he ends up on his backside. I don't know if he got hit or if he slipped after the kick there. I do want to say, for those of you that are watching, and if you're watching on the YouTube, your TV or whatever, your cell phone, whatever, and you see some pink out there, don't try to adjust your colors. It is October, and of course, oh, well, wait a minute. Hold on. Do we take the points off the board? There was a penalty, and it's half the distance to the goal, so the ball will be placed about the 1.5-yard line. A lot of coaches, once they put points on the board, won't take them off. They'll decline it. They'll take the 3 points. They'll go to halftime. Coach Kyatt, though, may say, hey, you know what? We're only 1.5 yards out.
It's really the clock is the factor here.
Yeah, he's going to take the field goal. 7-3 with 2.8, and which is a good idea. And here's the thing. I would have been a gambler, and I would have said, take the points off the board. Let's punch this in. Let's punch them in the mouth and show them we're here to play. But if you lose that and you don't get in, you go into halftime, you come out, and you have to put your defense on the field to start with. So that's the situation there.
Yeah.
That
if there was a few more,
they deferred, didn't they?
If there was the Tornadoes will have the ball to start the second half.
So that's why I would have done it, because you're getting the ball back a second time. So even if you don't make it in, you still get the ball to start the third quarter. But maybe that's the reason why Coach is there and I'm here.
Yeah, and if there was a few more seconds on the clock, too, it would have changed everything as well. Automatic first down after that penalty. You would maybe have a chance to run 2 plays to try to get it in the end zone.
Yeah, it would have been a first.
But 2.8 seconds left, you make
as soon as you hand off, it's it.
Right.
You got to make it in or you don't. You're right. Good point, Phil. They definitely had, because of the penalty, they had first and goal, but because of the fact that they waited to drop the clock way down before they did go and kick the extra to try to the field goal. That is why. So they'll boot this high in the air. It goes into the end zone. It's brought out of the end zone, so they'll start the clock to the outside sideline and being pushed out of bounds inside the 20. That'll end the first half. It's been a good one. The Tornadoes are just now starting to pick it up. They'll go into halftime, make some adjustments, come out. They'll start with the ball in the third quarter when we come back right here, bctornadoes.com.
Here at Brevard College versus Maryville football, Brevard Memorial Stadium in Brevard, North Carolina. It's halftime, 7-3. Maryville on top of Brevard after Brevard scored a field goal at the end of the half to get on the board. And we've got a special presentation, part of the homecoming festivities and part of the Brevard College Athletic Hall of Fame inductions.
First, Jeff Campbell, a 1991 graduate of Brevard College. He won the NJCAA national title in the 10,000 meters and was part of Brevard College's 1990 NJCAA cross-country national championship team and was a 6-time All-American while at Brevard College. Accompanied by his wife Robin and his children Aiden and Jillian, please give a round of applause to Brevard College Athletics Hall of Famer, Jeff Campbell. Next, Mike Jones. He served 12 years as head coach of the Brevard College men's basketball team, beginning in 1999, winning 175 games. He took 3 teams to national championship tournaments. He mentored 10 all-conference performers and maintained a 98% graduation rate for his student athletes. Accompanied by his wife Lori and daughters Rihanna, Lily, and Karis, please give a round of applause for Brevard College Hall of Famer, Coach Mike Jones. Congratulations to both inductees into the Brevard College Hall of Fame.
Well, the latest inductees into the Brevard College Athletics Hall of Fame honored at halftime here in this matchup between Brevard and Maryville, part of the homecoming festivities at Brevard College. Coach Mike Jones, 12 years as head men's basketball coach, 3 national championship appearances during that tenure, and a 98% graduation rate for his student athletes, and a cross-country and track and field legend, Jeff Campbell, national champion from 1990. And the class of 91, Jeff Campbell. Congratulations to those two. They were inducted officially into the Hall of Fame last night in a ceremony at Brevard College. And happy to be joined now by a special guest up here in the booth at halftime, the Commissioner of the USA South Conference, Dr. Tom Hart. Commissioner Hart, thanks for joining the show.
Phil, it's an honor and a pleasure to be in Brevard and on the radio.
Well, I'm always curious the decision-making process of a commissioner, because I know you visit different campuses throughout the athletic season, and certainly football season, there's a lot going on at all the USA South institutions. What motivated you to come out here to Brevard versus Maryville today?
Well, it is an interesting decision-making process. The biggest piece from a commissioner's standpoint is an attempt to get to every campus for a football game in the fall, if possible. So far this year, this is the 5th football game I've been able to see in 5 different campuses. I was fortunate the first weekend to catch a doubleheader. Went to a game at Huntington, and then on the way home back to Rome, Georgia, caught the LaGrange night game. And then the next weekend went to the Methodist University, was hosting a game, and then that night Averett had a game. And they're about 2:15 apart, 2 hours and 15 minutes, but because one started at 1 and one started at 7, you're able to get that done. And so once those 4 schools are kind of, if you will, in the books, then we begin to look at the other 4 in our conference and say, okay, where can I be and who can I see? I have not had a chance to see Maryville play yet, and obviously hadn't had a chance to see Brevard play yet. So this game, especially with the combination of homecoming, seemed to make a lot of sense as it related to getting here for this weekend. And then, whether it be Greensboro, North Carolina, Wesleyan, and we've still got a couple others that we've got to see. So, and we'll get there in time.
Well, we're thrilled to have you here today, and like you mentioned, homecoming, a lot going on here at Brevard College in Brevard, North Carolina. The campus is just abuzz with folks from all sorts of classes, as you go back in the college's history, coming back to visit. And last night a big Athletics Hall of Fame induction ceremony. How important is it for institutions this size, NCAA Division III schools, to celebrate their history, to bring back the alumni, and to have homecoming events like this?
Oh, it's critical. In fact, back when I was an athletic director at Webster University in St. Louis, that was one of the pieces and one of the programs that we put into play on the 25th anniversary of the athletic department, was to establish a Hall of Fame, in part because, just as you mentioned, Phil, there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that go into being a student athlete, and institutions being able to recognize that and celebrate that are things that you can't put a value on it, right? I mean, it's just it's personal memories, it's friendships, and Webster, and I'm sure at Brevard, but a lot of people have met their spouses at the school, and
Sure.
so you've got people that are genealogically connected to Brevard the rest of their life and the offspring. So those times and those moments are important.
Fantastic, and very well put, Commissioner Hart. Now, it also motivates the current student athletes, to see the former players come back, and they're out here on the sidelines today and so forth. And I know, suddenly, the current student athletes feel like they have something to live up to.
Sure, and not only that, but they when they look at the people that have gone before them, not just on the field of play, but then in their professional careers,
Yep.
or the fact that they move on and are outstanding citizens and wherever the locations they may live. Those are the next pieces of the puzzle. Especially for those upperclassmen that are winding down their careers, they realize, okay, well, life will go on. It's just a matter of how can I do it in a way that's going to bring value.
Well, Brevard College, a new member to the USA South, and entering NCAA Division III, and a lot of our audience may not be completely familiar with the USA South since Brevard's so new to the conference and exactly what it's all about. Sort of elevator pitch, in a nutshell. Can you explain the USA South Conference, its mission, and also its membership?
Sure. Well, the conference is made up of 18 different institutions, spanning from Alabama to Virginia. I often say we go A to V in our regional footprint, and it's the largest conference in Division III. As a Division III school, primarily our institutions are private, enrollment driven. Small. I think our largest institution has about 2,200 students. Most of them we average about 11 to 1,200 students per institution. They're all the NCAA Division III members, and as such, look at athletic experience kind of while it's critical and it's important, it's balanced with the athletic pursuits. And student athletes are just like any other student on campus. We have 17 sports in the USA South. We also we like to emphasize sportsmanship. We have a sportsmanship award that's presented every year. We also look at community service. We have cans across the conference as well as pennies for a purpose. Both of those opportunities, whether it be food and perishable items or in some cases funding, are provided locally. But we look at them as a collective as we move through things. So sportsmanship, community service, and then the third thing that we really try to pride is the opportunity to enhance the student experience and provide that through student leadership opportunities for students that are in the student athlete advisory councils or committees for every campus. It's the chance for student athletes to talk about how they can help improve and have an impact on their campuses. So sportsmanship, the students, and then service. The 3 S's, I think, go a long way towards explaining the USA South.
Outstanding. Now, you mentioned NCAA Division III, Brevard, and also USA South member institution Pfeiffer in the process of being reclassified to Division III, and both received a waiver to bypass a year and are going to, become official members of NCAA D3 that much quicker. That was big news, correct?
Oh, that was really big, and hats off to the administrations of both institutions. I know that they've worked hard to meet the NCAA expectations as it relates to the pieces that are there, and the fact that both were able to do it a year ahead of time provides them to be a full active member of NCAA Division III next year. So in 2020-21. They'll be competing for USA South championships and automatic qualifying. Our conference champions often receive AQs in a number of the team sports, so they're going to be able to compete for those as well. So yes, real big news as it relates to especially the student athletes in both those institutions who've been waiting. And I realize that Brevard's had some ECAC opportunities, and as has Pfeiffer. But that pales in comparison to an NCAA automatic qualifier and getting a chance to get into those championships. So I know the student athletes, as well as the administrations, are excited about the work they've done and how it's paid off.
Yeah, thanks for that, Commissioner Hart. It is in fact exciting to be that much closer to being full-time members. Now, would like to leave with this. A lot of our viewership is often high school parents and even prospective student athletes who are checking out schools like Brevard and schools like Maryville and trying to get a feel for what these schools are all about, and also trying to understand NCAA Division III. There was a hashtag, YD3, and certainly if you talk to the student athletes, you can get a feeling of why they enjoy being in NCAA Division III. But from your perspective, as someone who's been around small college athletics for so many years, can you tell our audience, why NCAA Division III makes sense for a prospective student athlete?
No question, Phil. That's a great question, and I've been in this in a variety of roles at the Division III level for about 25 years. First as a coach, then as an administrator, and then as a conference commissioner. Also been involved in many NCAA Division III committees. And for myself, I think if I had to boil it down to one word, it's balance. The balance between athletics and academics at the Division III level is not confusing. Most, if not all, student athletes understand why they're in school, right? They're in school to get a degree, to become get a little bit more education and get a degree and move into the workforce. And that is, I had the opportunity to coach at the Division I level for a few years, and I even coached professional basketball for a few years. And I often felt that there was confusion of why students were there, right? I mean, if a student is getting their entire education paid for through an athletic scholarship and the coach wants them to do something, even if it's contrary, if they have to miss a class or they have to move in a different direction, sometimes those are the kinds of things that make it a challenge.
Sure.
So I think it's important to through all things in Division III to realize that there's a balance there that's important.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense, and certainly that that whole experience that includes all those great community service programs you mentioned earlier as well, Commissioner Hart. Yep. Thanks for joining the broadcast here, Commissioner Hart. I think we're in getting ready for what's going to be a very exciting second half, a tight ball game so far between these two.
When we enter into the second season, which is what we're at, we're in the conference play starts today for all schools. And so the first month of the season is thrown out the window, right? I mean, they learn some things, but now we're to the place where we're going to be finding every week, especially in our conference, Phil, there's a lot of parity, especially in the top 4, 5, 6 schools. And those games every week are going to be like we're watching right here with a 7-3, a lot of hard hitting, clean. If you look at there hasn't really been many turnovers. It's one of those games that's like it's just going to be a matter of who's going to survive through the rest of the game. But it is interesting that, especially coming from Atlanta, where it was about 100 degrees the last week, to come up into the mountains and throw on a pullover and enjoy some weather and some football. This is real true football weather.
Yeah, well, we're biased up here, but this is one of many reasons why we love being here in the Western North Carolina mountains and at Brevard. Commissioner Hart, thanks for joining the program.
Phil.
Enjoy the rest of the afternoon, and thanks again for coming to this game.
Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody. It's halftime here as the guys come back out onto the field, getting ready for the start of the second half. Let's take a look at some of the statistics for these two squads. The Scots against your Brevard Tornadoes. First down category. Well, Maryville started off pretty good with this one, Phil. They would notch the first 4 or 5 first downs in a 9-play drive, which is ending up being the one score that has been put up on the board so far today before Brevard got going. Here late in the second quarter, they've got now 4 first downs, 3 of those by passing, nothing by rushing. And the other way, Maryville has put most of their first downs on the ground with a 6-3 over rushing, over passing. Just 1 penalty for a first down for Brevard. It came, unfortunately, right there at the end of the half with 2.8 seconds left to go. It would have been a first and goal. Brevard, after the kick, made the score 7-3, decided to keep the points on the board rather than pull it back and hope for the best. Third down efficiency, this is where Brevard fails again in this first half. Only 17%, 1 of 6. And Scott's keeping their team on the field 50% of the time, 4 of 8. Nobody has went for that first or fourth down. Total plays, Scots have run 34 to 20 for the Tornadoes. So 112 total yards on the ground for the Scots, 83 for the Tornadoes. They're averaging about 3.3 for the Scots, 4.2 for the Tornadoes. That's good news. The Tornadoes lead in the net yards in passing, 7 of 11 for 78. And as the Scots play a very short passing game, they are 10 of 13 for 54. There's been 1 sack for the Tornadoes, 2 sacks for the Scots. Nobody's been intercepted yet. The punts, well, Brevard has the distinguishing factor here is that Jackson Youngblood has got the silver boot today. He's like the Ray Guy of the Tornadoes today. 4 for 171. Now the average is 42.8, but we said he set a record earlier. It was about 58-yard punt, I believe is what you said. And man, he has really been able to flip the field for them and really helped keep his team in this ball game. The time of possession, again, 10:38 for the Tornadoes out of the time that's put on the clock. The other 19 minutes has been in the hands of the Scots. You take away that 9-minute drive, then it's pretty even, but you've got to break up that 9-minute drive. Dalton Cole, as we mentioned, 7-11 for 78 yards. On the rushing side of things, Jamie Turner, 3 attempts for a total of 3 yards. Mitchell Yoder had 1 attempt for 3 yards. Cole trying to rush the ball 3 times for just 1 yard. And Damon Rouse, 2 attempts, -2. So they have not been able to move the ball. On the other side, though, Jacob Bunch has been picking up the runs in bunches, and that's literally a pun intended. 11 attempts, 59 yards, averaging a little over 5 per carry. And Tevin Thrower, 5 attempts, 12 yards. And Caden Harbin, the quarterback, who we didn't know was going to be the quarterback until this game started, has rushed 5 times for a -13, but he's been able to put the ball in the air 10 of 13 times for 54. Pierre Watkins has been his target, 4 for 27. Brandon Norris has been the big target for Dalton Cole, 1 for 36. Ralph Roman's got 1 for 16, and Martigas Henley's got 1 for 16. So that's kind of really where we're at right now. It's time of possession for Brevard. They've got to hold on to the ball a little longer. Defensively, they've done a nice job of holding this game to just 7-3. And the offense will get the ball here, Phil, to start the second half.
Well, and what was very encouraging for Brevard, the drive that ended with a field goal. 8 plays. Cole went 4 for 4 on that drive and really seemed to get into a nice rhythm. Also, you started to see Cole a little bit use his feet, whether it was rolling out and finding the open receiver or even a design run or two. And an encouraging statement there at the end of the half that Brevard was able to, get their offense going.
Yeah, they marched down the field pretty good. Here's a short pooch to the up man again at the 27-yard line across the 30. It's got a steam, 40, 50, 45, and finally brought down at the 40. Very nice run. I have never quite understood why these guys decide to try these little pooch kicks, hoping maybe somebody's going to drop a ball, maybe it's going to slip out or a fumble. But I believe on the return, was that Rouse as one of the upmen? I want to say it was. I thought it looked like 29, but Or Hines. Okay, yeah. Hines on the return there, Gerald Hines. And, boy, nicely done. Already starting 1st and 10 at the 40-yard line of the Scots. Here's the delayed handoff to the outside. Breaking tackles, 35. Flags coming out, 30. More flags at the end of the play, all the way down to the 28-yard line. But I have a feeling, unfortunately, this one is going to come back as Turner breaks a couple of tackles, but I believe this is going to go against Brevard. A nice run, but if there's a hold in there, that may be the reason why that was such a nice run. And they're going to mark it off, and that's exactly what happens. It goes against Brevard. So back to midfield, this ball will go for a 2nd down.
A relatively penalty-free game. That's the 2nd penalty for Brevard. Maryville has yet to have a penalty enforced, at least.
We thought there should be more yellow on the field a couple of times, but apparently the referees decided, hey, let's let them play this out. So they'll start it from the 50 this time. We'll try it again, 1st and 20. Cole dropping back, being pushed out of the pocket. Little screen to the outside to the 50. Hit and brought down. No, stayed on his feet. And then flag again on the leap. Face mask on the far side. That one should go against the Scots. And I believe there was a grab there, but a grab by the face mask to get him down inside the 50-yard line. Let's see what they call here.
And that was Dalen Curtis on that reception, his first catch of the season, a tight end.
And it is a face mask, so that'll be 15 and an automatic. So they lost 10, now they gain 15, and out of it they gain a 1st down as well. And we'll move the chains back inside the 40-yard line. Of course, it is from the spot of the foul, 15 yards. So they move the ball actually down to the 30. Well, now he moved it up. 33-yard line is where they'll start. 1st and 10 from the 33 as Cole now will line up again in the shotgun. Offset eye with the tailback as well. Turnaround handoff outside and getting wrapped up at the 34-yard line, pulled down from behind. Line inside linebacker who's getting through, and the side he got through on is where the 2 blocks should have been placed. On both guys in the backfield should have been able to stop that linebacker for coming through on an A-gap blitz there and did not do so. So they will stay right there at the 33-yard line. It'll bring 2nd and 10. Just starting the 3rd quarter, a 7-3 ball game. Brevard with an opportunity here if they can put this across the goal line, get the lead. Handoff now looking to throw, halfback option, and he threw it on the other side of the fence out into the street area there. Martinkus Henley on that toss there. I should say tight end, but he was playing halfback, and a little difference there, but Henley, the senior, yeah, good throw there. He had good distance on it, just wasn't anywhere close. Looked like he was trying to maybe hang one in the corner of the end zone there. Yeah, we'll see what they do now. So a 3rd down situation. Rain was coming down. It's steady. I mean, it's not hard, but it's steady. So ball is going to be a little wet. Cole being pushed. Throws across the middle. Got his man caught. What a catch there at the 12-yard line with 3 guys on top of him. And that is Ahmad Dorsey with that catch. And Dorsey, what a grab there. He gets behind the cornerback. He gets behind the safety. The free safety is there as well. They have 3 guys on him. Boy, that was a real perfect throw from Cole over the shoulder, kind of to the side. The only person that could get it is the offensive player. The defense can't get their hands in. Otherwise, it's pass interference, or at least it would be in our book, but maybe not in their book. But either way, it was a perfect throw.
Ahmad Dorsey, a very exciting wide receiver, newcomer for the Tornadoes from Long Beach, California.
1st and 10 from the 12. It is a keeper by Cole. He sees the play kind of break up there a little bit. I think he thought it was going to go one way, there may have been some miscommunication there because I don't believe that was a play he was supposed to keep. But he keeps it anyway, uses his feet. Now, we talked about it, and I've mentioned it more than a few times. I'm surprised they're not running him a little more. Like I said, he was averaging close to 60 yards on the ground in the last 2 games and really able to move with his legs. He's got some pretty good speed for a quarterback. And, you know, when you got a quarterback that's mobile and can run, of course, you don't want to run him too often. You don't want to see him go down with an injury. And that's the one thing they fear. Across the middle, ball tipped in the air, intercepted in the end zone on the tip, and returning it for the Scots. They bring it out of the end zone to the 20-25 and finally pulled down across the 30. And the tip, unfortunately, lands in the defense's hands in the end zone. They'll bring the ball out, and the ball is hit Herring. And unfortunately, when he tipped it, it went high in the air. There's nothing you can do at that point. It's a scramble at that point to who can get to it. And for the free safety, I believe that is going to be the one who picks up that grab. And the free safety there is going to be Herring. And he kind of playing in center field there, actually, as an outside linebacker. But there is a penalty flag. There actually are 2 of them. They're walking this off towards the Scots, most likely hit in the back on the return. Oh, block below the waist. Boy, you don't see that called very often. Goes half the distance to the goal line on that penalty because it is one of the serious fouls in football. So it moves the return all the way back to just shy of the 8-yard line where the Scots will take over. So a tough one there for the Tornadoes, who were looking possibly to try to put some points on the board to get things started here. Either get the lead or cut it down even more. Now it's going to be up to the defense.
And just the 2nd interception this season for Cole, and that one really kind of the hard luck variety.
That ball that kind of was a little high. The receiver goes up and he pumped it, and when he bumped it, it went into the air. It went straight up. Usually they'll go off to the side one way or the other. Does not. Speaking off to the side, there's a run to the outside. They'll cross the left tackle. They'll get across to about the 14-yard line. And Kennedy brings him down, but not before. It looks like he's coming off with the injury, and man, he is, if that's who that is right here, down in front of us here. He was shaking the left hand really hard when he came across the field. Now the trainers are down there with him. Really kind of hard to see a number at this point, but you hope it's not him. He is one of their starting DBs, and he's had a pretty good game. He's had a couple of really good plays so far today. The outside linebacker.
Yeah, the injured player, and actually another very valuable part of that Brevard College defense is Andreas Wyatt.
Okay, so it's not Kennedy. Okay.
He might have gotten jammed up, playing man-to-man defense on the corner there with the Scots receiver.
Yeah, Wyatt, the junior, 6-footer, 180 pounds, shaking that left hand. Sometimes that's what they call, we call it the funny bone, but it's kind of a pinched nerve, and it'll cause the hand to just cramp up and can't get it open until it works its way out. We'll see what happens. And he'll come off the field for at least one play. We'll see if he comes back out early. 2nd and 5 from the 15. 2 wide here to the near side. Now they'll send the halfback out towards the left wing, and he comes back in.
And Rook Tate, number 33 from Gaffney, South Carolina, the freshman, in for Wyatt on that outside corner position.
Covering this near side here on the hash mark is the receiver. Looking to throw that way, and they'll throw short, and it's too short, low, and can't be grabbed and held onto, and that'll be an incomplete pass, and it'll bring up a 3rd down. Looked like he might have been going, I believe that is, if that was Burke, I believe he was trying to hit there. The yellow or the silverish numbers on the white uniforms, really difficult to see at times today. That pass ends up short. He was going to Collier. Brings up a 3rd and 5 situation. They've been pretty good with 3rd downs, 50%. looking to throw quickly to his man and drop. Nice hit. Beautiful hit. Timed it perfectly. The catch comes in. You hit the arm of the receiver. Ball pops out. It'll bring up a 4th down. And once again, for the 3rd time today, Brevard's defense has stood up and kept the ball deep in the other end. That means it'll be good field position for a punt here that should be somewhere between the 40 and the 50-yard line. Brevard should start again.
Quinton Jackson, you call his name all the time. Always a very active player, that Brevard College defense. A big hit there to jar the football out of the hands of the Scot and force this punt play.
It's funny, too, because they list him at 6'1", 160, and I think he's a little bigger than that. But, boy, he hits like he's about 210. That was a massive hit. There's a grab of the punter, and they're going to nail him in the end zone. Ball comes out. Is it a touchdown? Let's see. Yes, it is. The ball came out. The punter lost the football. He was rushed. It was huge from 2 sides. When they hit him, he tried to twist away. The ball comes out, and it is grabbed by the defender, who lays down in the end zone and gets the touchdown.
Looks like Rook Tate with the touchdown.
Beautiful play. Wow. Just a quick rush from the outside as you see him come along. And when he came in from the outside, you can see that he nails the punter. The punter sees that it's going to be blocked, so he tried to get away from him, Phil, and then he ran to the right a little bit. And when he spun, that's when the ball got knocked out. And touchdown Tornadoes. They have flipped the scoreboard, and now we'll try to add the extra point here. We'll take a look at it. We've got the opportunity to replay this play here after this kick to take a look, see how it happened. That's good. So the Tornadoes will put up 7, and they'll
just like
lead
that.
And they now lead at 10-7. So when they came in, they had 2 defenders coming in on the punter. And let's take a look here on our vantage point of the replay. And, of course, you can go back on your screen and rewatch this play as well. But you'll see the punter knows at one point he has no opportunity to get the ball off. There it is, the rush. He right through. He dives up in the air, and the punter sees that. And then he turns because he knows he's getting rushed. Can't kick the ball. And he's grabbed and yanked down, and that's when the ball came out. And there was 4 or 5 jerseys back there celebrating. That was a huge touch. That's a big, big defensive touchdown. Wow, what a play. Fantastic.
Well, special teams, a emphasis all season long, and certainly a strength of this Tornadoes team. Special teams coordinator Jaron Gavea, Coach Kyatt talks about him all the time, just how valuable he is on this coaching staff. He played at Virginia Tech under Frank Beamer, where he learned how to coach special teams.
The kick all the way back to the 5-yard line, 10, 15, 20, across the 25, and then finally brought down inside or around the 28-yard line. So a pretty good return there of about 23 yards. And that is where the Scots will start. Well, the one thing that a couple of weeks ago I had the chance to talk to Coach Kai afterwards, and I asked him about Dalton sometimes changing the play and maybe taking off and running. Is this something you allow, or is this something that he's just allowed to do? And he kind of smiled and laughed, and he said, I won't really say that I advise him to do things like that. Maybe the reason why we're not seeing, I think he likes to pass that ball a lot. He doesn't live by the pass, but I think he likes to keep his quarterback in the pocket, keep him fresh, keep him standing upright. Maybe that's the reason why we haven't seen Cole run too much today. Speaking of running, quarterback running for his life, being chased down, throws to the sideline. That was almost intercepted. And here comes the late flag and calling for it. That's going to be offensive pass interference, I believe. And it should be, because of the fact. Now the pass, one referee is signaling uncatchable ball. If they do that, they'll pick the flag up. Maybe. No. They do call the pass interference finally offensively, and it was an easy see. You could see him shove the defender from behind, and that's going to cost the Scots. So we finally get our first pass interference play and the first flag on that today. So we were pretty much penalty free in the first half. Here in the third quarter, more laundry on the field than we have seen most of the game.
Worth mentioning also, Chuck, Andreas Wyatt, who went out injured, back in the game.
Back in the game at his spot. Good news there because, like I said, hopefully just like a little stinger there. And then, like I said, it can really, it almost just cramps your hand together. It's kind of like holding a ball that the ball's not there. 3 wide to the left for Harbin, who will hand off. And wrapped up immediately by the front 3 and the leader of the pack. Boy, I'll tell you what, running into Lewis Williams III must be like running into a wall. He is 6'3", 330 pounds. He is just a monster out there. And you can tell he's right in the middle there. He's got all the pink on, the shoes, the waist, the extra shirt there on the sleeves. And Bunch had nowhere to go. Jacob Bunch running right into him.
Jerome Bass and Antonio Williams Jr. get in there as well.
Bubble screen again outside to Bunch. He'll try to take the outside edge. And then he gets popped there pretty good at the 23-yard line. Gets up a little slowly and kind of looks to see who the license plate number of the truck that just hit me was. And I believe, again, that might have been Quinton Jackson on the outside that laid the extra hit there at the end. So it brings up a very long 3rd down, a 3rd and 15, another big opportunity here for the Tornado defense as you hear the crowd start to get into this a little more now with their Tornadoes on top, 10-7. Here comes the rush from the outside across the middle. He got his man. They played zone, but they played too far back, and you can't, when you play the zone like that for a long down, you've got to make sure that you don't let them get to the sticks. And what they did is they came too far back, so they let them come out to the stick, stop, catch the ball, and there you go. First down situation from inside the 40-yard line. They gave them just a little too much room. Quick screen again. Cutting back inside and going to get out maybe for a yard or two. They live on this short pass play. And like we said, this could be for the reason of Maryville just, literally, there's not an outstanding quarterback on this team, apparently. The other 2 guys that they threw the first 3 games didn't do very well. And this young man, converted linebacker and / quarterback out of high school, he hasn't really thrown anything huge today. Most of his passes have been within 10, 15 yards. The whistles blow before the snap. I believe this is, I'm not sure what they're doing here. The officials, well, timeout charge to Brevard. So Brevard sees something before the snap of the ball. 2nd and 5, balls on the 42-yard line of the Scots with 8:24 left to go. Phil, not a bad way to start the 3rd quarter. Unfortunately, you can't go in offensively, but defensively you get the touchdown. The offense, though, come out real quick. Back to the defense. You got to have the defense stop it again, and then again another 3rd down situation where they don't get off the field because they leave too much room on his own.
Yeah, always tough to give up those 3rd and longs, and Maryville able to convert. And looks like, the Brevard coaching staff realizes this is a big drive here, and, maybe saw some things they wanted to get organized on defensively to try to stop this drive before Maryville gets into Brevard territory.
One thing Harbin does is he gets the ball out quickly, doesn't give the defense much of a chance to get in there. We've only had a couple of sacks today, and they haven't been able to rush him too many times, but it's because of the fact that he throws a lot of these little bubble screens to his tight end or his wide receiver or the halfback coming out, even at times behind the line, and that's where you got to make that adjustment. Now they'll bring up another linebacker to the outside to try to team up and bring him from the outside. They do, but they switch the run and go the other way. It's still a good job by the defense of getting in there and yanking them down. They lost the first grab of the tackle, but they pick up on the second one, and a nice takedown.
And sets up another critical 3rd down for this Brevard College defense. It looks like about 3rd and 2 here, and see if the Tornadoes can get off the field here and force a Maryville punt.
Well, they go to that right side where their big guys are, but Jerome Bass is not a small guy himself, 6 foot 250, able to get a hold of the runner, pull him down before he got enough yardage. They're about a 2 yards shy of that first, now being chased out of the pocket across the middle. Low throw somehow snagged and held on to. What a pickup there into the 43-yard line, and I believe that catch is made, I want to say Terry Stewart? No. Is it Clayton Ogle? Clayton Ogle. Quinton Jackson able to bring him down, but boy, he reached down. I mean, he was down to his knees when he grabbed that ball and somehow held on to it. And again, on a third down, they pick up the first. 7 minutes to go here in the third.
And Harbin just threading a needle there.
Yeah,
You know,
he threw it through like 6 jerseys there of all colors. Put a man in motion behind the quarterback and runs to the left side. They run up the middle, go nowhere, and of course Williams right there on that tackle. They'll pick up maybe a yard or two. Boy, when he smothers a tackler, that was actually Brandon Crawford. When he grabs somebody, you can barely see them. Brandon Crawford, 5'11", 305. These three guys up front are just big. I mean, that is a lot of defensive line up there. And they haven't been able to run through the middle too often. One big play by Bunch earlier in the game, but that's been it. He'll set himself up again, 3 wide receivers to the far side. Keeper through the middle, scrambles for a few yards, dives forward. That's definitely one the coach cringes about when you see your quarterback go head first.
Number 2, Caden Harbin on the carry.
Harbin will get that ball down to the 37-yard line. So, boy, you know, you got to give it up for the kid. Of course, he's a linebacker. He's probably got that defensive mentality like I can hit anybody. I'll take my hits as well. Dives forward for a few yards, brings up a 3rd and 4 situation. Ooh, just about jumped there. This is not somewhere you want to jump. You want to let Harbin make that count. You don't want to give him the first down on a penalty. In the backfield, bouncing off a couple of guys, wrapped up immediately. Good job by the defensive line. They stuffed that run. What they do, they go A-B, blitz on either side as they bring the 3 linemen up right up the middle. The 2 outside linebackers come in on the outside, and then you just kind of surround the runner, and you make him go to the middle so he can't go anywhere.
And looks like Maryville is considering going for it here on 4th down. And in fact, the offense staying out there on the field.
Yes, they are. Wow, 4th and 4 situation. Ball on the 40. Maybe they figure they can't punt somewhere inside the 5-yard line, but they're going to depend on their defense. An interesting play call here. Man in motion. Calling for the snap, trying to call him off sides is what he's doing now. Timeout. Now they'll punt the ball. So they were going for that opportunity to try to get a hard count. Didn't work. Good job. Brevard staying steady. That is taught by a coach. You have to learn that. And you have to be very focused not to go. You're always looking at the ball. Don't listen for the count. Look for the ball to go before you go.
So they tried to draw him off sides there. The play clock was running down, and the quarterback Harbin able to get the timeout just before delay of game penalty. But now it's still decision time for Maryville. You know, it's 4th and 4. They could still go for it here. You could punt it and try to pin the Tornadoes back. I get the feeling it is probably a little too long for a field goal. We're probably talking, over 50 yards, a field goal attempt, so that might be foolhardy. But we'll see what they do here, and it looks like the offense is heading back onto the field for another 4th down attempt.
You figure the ball's at the 37-yard line. Even if you get a good punt, to try to place one inside the 5-yard line is pretty tough to do. To be able to punt 32 yards and have it bounce just right before it goes in the end zone. So you don't gain anything. If you put it into the end zone, it ends up only being about a 17-yard net. On the other side, you're right. Field goal would have been a distance of probably about 53 or 54 yards. And that's pretty big for anybody. They're going to roll to the left side. Harbin being chased. Throws across the middle. Knocked down. Defended well. And again, another big play by the defense. It'll be a turnover on downs. First down on defense. I want to say
it looked like Andreas Wyatt, who was that player who had gone out injured for a moment, and a big play there, getting a hand on that.
Yeah, Wyatt got his hand in there, slapped it out of there, and it'll be a first down now. And so they turn it over on 4th down. I mean, it gets a gutsy call in essence. Maybe not as gutsy as it sounds because of where the ball is at the 37-yard line. But now you've got an opportunity to work some clock and work your offense and try to get another score here, up by a score of 10-7. Run up the middle, a lot of movement, but I don't think they got too much out of there if they got back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Rouse still trying to get Rouse going here.
Yes.
It's been tough to run interior against the Scots.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. He, he's a pretty good back. He scampers well. He hasn't been able to go inside or outside. And like I said, going inside against a four-man front, and they're a pretty good size front. The tough part about it is they keep their linebackers up, so they almost play that like 8 guys in the box type situation you hear about all the time, keeping the run complete, but they have not been able to move the defensive line off the ball, so to speak. Dalton being chased. Ooh, almost ran into trouble. Escapes that one. He's got to tuck it and run. He'll get to the outside and go out of bounds at about the 40. Boy, dangerous run there. He had that ball out there, as they say, carrying it like the old bread. You don't want to keep that ball out in front of you. You got to tuck that ball. I think he was trying to throw it the last second. Gets it to the 39, picks up a couple of yards. It'll be a long third down for Brevard. So will the call benefit here the Scots by trying for it on 4th down? We'll see. We'll look away. The way Jackson's been punting, though, pinning somebody in the 5-yard line from here probably isn't that hard to think about. Cole looking to throw. Plenty of time. Got a man deep over the top. Comes back for the ball. Gets impeded a little bit, but I don't think it was catchable, and I think the referee makes the right call, doesn't throw a flag. Nobody's yelling for one. But again, going down the sideline there and hoping to get that ball in his hands. I believe that's Henley again. He coming off the field with a little bit of a limp there, it looks like. So Jackson will do what he's done best so far and see if he can't connect again here. He'll punt from about the time he puts the foot into it. It'll be just in front of his 25-yard line. Pretty good boot. Signal for a fair catch at the 33-yard line, and he's caught there and held on to. So not bad. He kind of flips the field a little bit. They're about their own 30-some-yard line. Brevard started about their own 30-some-yard line. So both teams with an offensive possession. Neither one can move the ball, and it's back to the defense again. And Tornadoes coming out now with 3:11 left to go. And the rain starts to pick up a little more here. They forecasted these showers, and I know in Tennesseeville we haven't had rain since I have no idea when. I can't even look back. I don't know how much you guys have had. I think the last time you guys had rain here was when we got rained out at that first game.
Yeah,
So,
a no contest due to multiple lightning delays, but everything looks playable here.
there's a nice little catch and toss there, and a little pitch and catch to the outside. Runner goes out at about the 40-yard line. Crisp with the drag out of bounds, so to speak. They'll get the ball to the 40-yard line, brings up a second down. So maybe a much-needed rain, but I'm sure that a lot of folks would prefer that it would have waited a little while longer till after the ball game. It has not dampened the crowd. Pretty good crowd on both hands. In the backfield, they had him once, and they'll wrap him again. Oh, and he got hit twice there. And, man, I'll tell you what, somehow breaking tackles there. And when he broke that one tackle of Eddie Dean brought him down, but I believe it was Antonio Williams Jr., it looked like, who might have got a hit on him if he's out there. It looked like 12, but he got hit once, and then he got hit a second time and spun out of that one. Here he comes. 3rd and 5 now from the 37-yard line. Again, another third down opportunity for the Tornado defense. They rush 4. Ball up in the air, too high, and into the sideline it goes. He was trying to go outside and trying to hit Clayton Ogle, the senior. It's very unusual when you look at a receiver and you see the height, 5'8", 168. Most receivers 5'10", 5'11", 6 feet or better. But if you got good hands, it may be the reason. Here we go with another timeout. We've got an injured player.
Antonio Williams, who you mentioned, and it's been very active, this afternoon, the injured player being attended to by head athletic trainer Matt Bummer. And another big third down stop there for the Tornadoes defense, on that Quinton Jackson and Wesley Ross defending that last attempt by Maryville in a quick 3 and out here, and Tornadoes offense will get the ball back, and certainly looks like some good adjustments were made in this in the halftime locker room, the way the Tornadoes have come out in this third quarter.
Antonio Williams was the gentleman down on the ground, so apparently part of that hit again, and gets up off on the field on his own power and is escorted to the sideline. We'll go to the punt team. High snap over the punter's head. Racing after this football, and he kicks it. That's a flag. And I hate this rule that's going to come about. I think it's totally unfair. I think if you kick a ball out of the end zone, it shouldn't be just a penalty. I think it should be points myself. I think it should be awarded to the other team. But it's a safety. You get 2 out of it, but it takes away any chance to get a touchdown. And I just hate that rule, but I know that is what it is. Smart job by the punter, though, to get there quick enough to boot it out of the back of the end zone. But, hey, you take 2 more, you put those up on the board, and you get the ball because they got a punt.
And the bottom line is another big play by special teams for Brevard College under Coach Jaron Gavea, the special teams coordinator. Such a big emphasis, whether it's, the punt coverage team, the punt team with Jackson Youngblood, the kickoffs, just an all-around unit here in making things happen and scoring points, via special teams. Meanwhile, that is the smart play if you're the punter for Maryville. It's the way to go.
Either
because
pick it up and throw it out of the, you've got to get it out of the back of the end zone. If you pick it up and throw it and it doesn't get to the back of the end zone and is recovered, it's a fumble. But Coach Kite is out there, and I'm not sure what they're discussing here because as far as I know, that's the rule. It's a safety.
Yeah, Coach Kite and associate head coach Eric Gallen in deep discussion with the officiating crew.
It was interesting to interview the coach for the first time a couple weeks ago because I hadn't got a chance to meet him yet. I did not know he was a big time player, and he kind of laughed. He goes, well, when I was in the NFL, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, that's cool. The rule that I know is he kicked it out of the back of the end zone, safety, but the coach is still chatting with the officials. But he didn't. It's not a touchdown because it's not recovered by at that point, the defensive. So they take the safety. I think you actually could have been I think there could be a penalty on there, and I think you could take the ball at a yard line. And I think that's what the discussion was. I would have to look that one up because I don't know. I know it's a penalty, and I don't know what the penalty is assessed. I don't know if you back them up, like, it would be half the distance to the goal line and you can make them kick from there. Or you can take the penalty, which is the smart thing to do. He does take the penalty for 2 points, and now they have to punt. But I believe what he had said, it almost sounded like what he said was they have declined the penalty, whatever the penalty is, kicking the ball half the distance to the goal line, and would have had to make him kick from,
Yeah. Well, the bottom line is a
2
safety
points,
for
yeah.
the Tornadoes, another big play on special teams.
Huge.
And this makes it a touchdown difference between the two teams in essence. A 5-point lead, a field goal doesn't tie it anymore. So a big score for the Tornadoes, and now good field position for the Tornadoes coming up.
In that odd-looking punt there at the 45, 50, across the 50 is where it's grabbed and held onto. Brought down right there inside of the other side of the 50-yard line is where the Tornadoes will start. So they've cut the field in half. They've picked up 2 points. Like you said, Phil, now it's a one-score game. Can't win it on a field goal. That's huge. Now, if you can get these 47 yards, one way or another, you can put 6 on the board or 3 on the board, and makes it even more difficult going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it really feels like the momentum has, shifted towards the Tornadoes. And it really all started with that big drive at the end of the first half. Ended in 3 points, but now the Tornadoes on the attack again.
Cole with a handoff outside and gets hit, knocked down, doesn't get too far. maybe picking up a yard or two. I believe that was Turner on the carry. Turner picks up a yard or two. Will put him at the 46-yard line.
Boy, it's been tough for either team to get their running game going, that's for sure.
And it really kind of surprising, especially with the weather. We knew they would run a lot today because of the ball being wet and a little bit slick. And that may have been what happened on that snap by long snapper Eric Graham for the Scots. May have been a little wet, and boy, he literally sailed it over his head by 3-4 yards. Here's another run. Nice cutback into the middle of the pack there. Gets into about the 42-yard line, and that is Rouse. And boy, they've both been trying to get their way weaving in and out of there, but unfortunately just can't get it. They moved the ball actually to the 43. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
You know, and Chuck, actually that was Gerald Hines on that last
okay.
carry. So a positive rush for Hines, but another 3rd down situation for the Tornadoes.
They're looking for somebody to get that run game going. They're, 2 and 3 yards at a time is fine. As I used to say, 2-3 yards in a cloud of dust. But you've got to pick up the first down as well. Should be the last play of the 3rd quarter. Got to hurry, though. Got it off with 2 seconds left on the play clock. Backing up, falling on his back foot, and goes down as he throws. And I think the crowd may have wanted something, but
in the incomplete pass, there's actually a few seconds left here in this 3rd quarter now. So
5.6. And it'll give Youngblood a chance to try to pin them deep. This should give Youngblood a pretty good opportunity, Phil, to push this ball inside the 10-yard line. We've seen him punt balls 40-plus today. He's going to punt from his own 45. Kind of running soccer kick went off the side of his foot, though. Oh, man, that ball went way out early. Let's see where the ref will run up and mark this. The coach marked it out at the 40. That's where he's standing. The ref is going up to the 35-yard line.
Yeah, first real mistake we've seen from the Brevard College special teams. Just not well executed on that, sort of Aussie-style rugby punt. So possession back to Maryville as we head to the 4th quarter. Brevard 12, Maryville 7.
So we come back to start the 4th quarter. And Harbin will put 2 wide receivers out. Hand off, they're going to go bunch. Right side cuts back into the middle, crosses the 40. Brought down at about the 42-yard line. Brings up a 2nd down situation. And about 2.
Toby Naylor checking back in for the Tornadoes on the defensive side.
They just haven't really been able to slow down Bunch. At times he's been able to get some really big yardage. And picking up 6 and 7 at a time, it's really kind of hurt. And get a 2nd and short. They'll hand off again. They'll go bunch. That ball's out in the air, but picked up by one of the big men up front. He gets mauled on. But he's going to fall forward enough probably for a 1st down. I don't know. That ball was popped out of there pretty good. And then number 77.
Yeah, Davian Montgomery, the senior from Spring, Texas, coming up with that fumble recovery.
You don't see too many linemen being able to pick up a ball and then try to run, and he did. And they marked the ball at the 47-yard line. And it's 1st down.
Yeah, it turned into a 1st down play for the Scots.
Yeah, the way the ball bounced up. Rolling to his right. Harbin still looking down the field. Interception taken away at the 32. Back down 40, 42. Oh, then wrapped up very hard and pulled down, and a little extra there. Side judge, though, right there, but you could tell that ball was going to be intercepted all the way. He was thrown into double coverage. There is a flag, though, at the 47-yard line, and that was Quinton Jackson again. That'll be his fourth interception of the year, because he had 2 already going into the game. So Jackson again with those hands. I mean, that was just an ill-advised throw, one. But you could tell it was going to be an interception. Then I yelled interception, and then he's tapping it. And I thought, please don't drop this. But he hangs on, makes the catch. What a great grab. The Brevard ball.
Face masks against the Tornado defense.
So they called the face mask on Jackson? Apparently. How could they? He had the ball.
Yeah, I couldn't catch a number there as he
I thought
made
he
the
said
explanation.
25, but it wouldn't have been 25 because he had the interception. Unless he had a face mask called before he made the interception. Well, it goes right back to the Scots, and they're now on the 40 or the 37-yard line of Brevard. They'll hand off Bunch. He'll cross the 35, get to the 32 before he's wrapped up there. So what looked like a great play for the defense ends up a penalty, and the ball back into the hands of the Scots. At the 33-yard line of Brevard, it is a second down situation. Chris Diaz in on the grab there. Looked like the defense was yelling for the play to be called in. They brought 5 up to the line, and they're going to blitz. Bunch right through the middle, though, reads it well behind a couple of good blocks. Gets all the way down to the 22. It'll be another first down. And Jacob Bunch right now just running through that Brevard front four. Well, this is where the defensive coach now has to come up with something a little better than what he's been calling, because that's 4 running plays that have gained big yardage plus the penalty. Again, Bunch. This time not going anywhere. Grabbed and yelled out. Pulled down, and a nice job there by the front man in Lewis Williams III.
Number 4, Jacob Bunch on the carry. Brought down number 99, Lewis Williams III.
12 minutes left to go here in the ball game. Again, Brevard with that 5-point lead. Got to keep them out of the end zone. Continue to go with Bunch in the backfield. Now he'll squirt out to the right side, looking to throw into the corner. Little push off there. Incomplete, out of bounds. Good catch, but out of bounds is the wide receiver. It'll bring up a third down situation. Well, this is a huge third down here for Brevard. You need a stop here. That ball is at the 23-yard line. So if they don't get anything, if they had, well, now they're moving it to the 24. Keep moving it further, ref. Take that.
And some great coverage on that last play by Quinton Jackson. And by the way, Chuck, got some clarification on that face mask penalty that resulted in a first down. It was actually on Brandon Crawford,
Okay.
number 55.
55, okay. Here's a snap, big third down play. Here comes the rush. Squirting through to the left side, nowhere to go. Hit at the 20, falls to the 18. Not enough for a first. It'll be a fourth down, but he did pick up a lot of yardage on the play. So you could potentially, depending on how good Ian Hubbs is.
Looks like the field goal team's coming
he's
out.
going to come out. They're going to place the ball at the 19, so add 17 yards, give or take. They actually add, 17 yards, so this will be 36-yarder. Let's see what he can do. Hubbs. Last time the long snapper had to snap a good snap. He snapped it over the head. Let's see what he does here. Good snap, good hold. Kick is up, and it is good. It is a 12-10 ball game. Now there is a field goal opportunity to win for Maryville. So if you're Brevard, you've got to take this ball and march down the field, and you got to get some time off the clock. It's a 12-10 game. We've got 10:43 left to go here from Brevard Memorial Stadium on homecoming day for the Tornadoes right here on bctornadoes.com. We're ready to go here with 10:43 left to go now. A 2-point ball game, and it's been a battle between these two squads. And Tornadoes trying to hold on to this 2-point lead. They will get the ball here on the kick here from the Scots. Again to the side, right around the 24-yard line to the 30. Seam 35, 40, 50. Another seam, one guy to beat down the sidelines, trying to tiptoe his way through there. Going to get pushed out at about the 27, 28-yard line. He was trying to get by one guy left to beat. I believe it might have even been the punter, and that is Hines again with that great grab. But once he got that block, he had a total seam in front of him and nothing but green.
Once again, Tornado special teams coming up with a big play. That one, a kickoff return from one of the up men, Hines, and field position ideal for the Tornadoes.
They moved the ball back, though, to the 34, so apparently there was something that I didn't see. Maybe he got stepped out at the 34. I thought he was all the way down to the 23, but they start him at the 34, 1st and 10. But either way, again, another great run.
And first down rush from Rouse. Good to see Rouse getting going here.
And he's wrapped up immediately there as soon as you said
the old broadcaster jinx.
Broadcaster jinx, exactly. Unfortunately, I can't remember who said it the other day. One of the old broadcasters said, if I could do that, I wouldn't be broadcasting. If I could predict the outcome of things. Well, the ball placed back at the 30. It'll drop it back to a 3rd down. So Rouse gets one for a couple of yards, then goes back to the line of scrimmage. But again, you've got to give credit to the Scots defense up front. Those defensive four have been very good, very strong up front, and they've been able to push the offensive line back for the Tornadoes. Really haven't given much room for the guys to run the football. Cole will be in the shotgun looking to throw. They've given him plenty of time to throw. This time, though, they do not. He got hit as he threw. It'll be an incomplete pass. The referee signaled immediately ball was going forward, and Dalton is not happy about something. He is barking and screaming at somebody, and I'm not sure who it is.
Well, no quarterback likes to get that much pressure on him when he drops back to pass, especially on a critical 3rd down to keep the chains moving. And meanwhile, it looks like decision time again, and Dalton Cole staying out there. So it looks like the Tornadoes may be going for it here.
Well, this doesn't shock me here. This is what I would do. You're out by 2 points. You have the ball on the 30-yard line. Even if you turn it over, your defense has got a great opportunity.
Play clock was running out. Looks like
Timeout.
Tornadoes got a timeout just before that delay of game penalty.
Well, I think maybe that might have been what he was yelling, get me the play, get me the play, get me the play. I'm assuming. I may be wrong. But he was the only guy looking towards the sideline when he was yelling about something. And you're right. Yeah, if you got, all day long, he has had a lot of time to pass. He has really had a pretty nice pocket, and that time it breaks down on a big play. You've got 9 minutes in the ball game. You're up by 2. You're on their 30. You've got probably one of the best punters in the league. My feeling is here, I go for it as well. I mean, granted, it is a long 6 yards, but even if you don't get it, your defense has played well the last 2 series. You've got them pinned pretty deep inside their own 30.
Yeah, it's another of those situations you could make an argument for 3 different plays.
Right.
Go for it, punt and try to pin them down deep, and even try a long field goal in this situation. You know,
He's 40.
47 yards, not
Yeah, but he
completely
hasn't-
out of DeMonis's range. You know,
Really?
would put you up by 5.
Well, he's only, he's 1 for 2 this year? I don't think he's kicked that many field goals.
Yeah, I'm just
Or
talking
2, yeah.
anecdotally from
Yeah.
some pregame type situations,
Yeah.
but it would be an option. But they're going for it is the bottom line.
Yeah, he's 2 of 3 on the year, but we don't know, distance-wise. That always makes a feeling. Cole still looking and now throwing deep into the end zone. Pulled down. There's the flag. Pass interference. That's the other thing you can do on a play like this. He had a lot of time. If you throw the bomb to the end zone and you get the pass interference, that's like the opportunity. It's the same as a catch. It's a first down play, and it will be against, I'm sure it's against the Scots.
Yeah, it's got to be Ralph Roman III, the
Yeah,
intended
yanked it down.
wide receiver. Great job by him to get kind of position there and make it that difficult on that defensive back where he's got to mug him basically.
Well, when the ball's up in the air at that point, the defensive back doesn't see that it's turning and going a different way, so it's short. So he reaches and yanks him because he sees Roman break away from the route he was running. He was right there with him. It was going to be a good one-on-one situation, but it ends up being a big PI and a first down at the 15-yard line. And Dalton Cole has his team going. Handoff outside, getting a little bit of the edge, picking up a yard or 2 before he's popped pretty good by the inside linebacker. Picking up a couple of yards. It'll be second down.
Rouse once again still trying to get Rouse going. Meanwhile, we're under 9 minutes to play in this ball game, and you feel like a lot of it hinges on what happens here in this red zone.
Well, a field goal gives you, again, a touchdown or a score lead at least. Can't win it by a field goal. So you've got to come away with points here if you want to keep it in your favor. Delay a game. Clock is at 0. Was the timeout called or not? Oh. Illegal substitution by the offense. Stays second down. Ball goes back to the 19-yard line. So you get penalized 5 yards there. They got to come out of these huddles a lot faster. They're really taking a lot of time off the clock. And I understand that to try to count the play clock down, but that was very close, too, to a delay of game. Cole again with time. Little screen to the outside. Got his man 25, 15, 10, 5. Into the corner. Touchdown in the end zone. Go the Tornadoes. And Damon Rouse finally able to get a little bit of running room. Really nice play there by Dalton Cole. He looks the safety off. When he looked him off, the safety rolls to the right, allowing Rouse plenty of room on the screen to go down by the time the safety gets over there. Rouse too fast. Easily 19 yards, and he's in for the score. Huge touchdown right here. The extra point is critical as well. It's an 8-point lead right now. $18-10 is our score, pending the extra points. It is good, and it is now 19-10. So now you've got a 2-score lead, technically. That was a big extra point, and DeMarlos, again, does his job.
Rouse, his 3rd touchdown on the year, his 1st as a wide receiver, and for Dalton Cole, his 4th touchdown catch on the season, and what a big one there, to put the Tornadoes up 19-10, now a 2-score situation.
That was a big extra point. I mean, it probably not. A lot of people are thinking, well, DeMarlos, no big deal, we'll put it through the upright. But if you don't, you've only got an 8-point lead, and then it's an opportunity for the Scots touchdown 2-point conversion to tie the ball game. So that was huge there. And we've got 8 minutes left to go. Game's still not over. Still got to continue to play hard. But another defensive stop here, and it's a possibility that you get a defensive stop here and hold on to the ball. You could end the ball game and only giving the Scots only one opportunity to get the football. Good boot all the way back. He's grabbed by the 12-yard line. Run to the outside. Now backing up, going backwards, still going backwards, and finally nailed and popped at the 13, 14-yard line and pushing him back. Nice job by the defense, but they tell you run north and south. Don't run east and west. Not when you're making a return on a kickoff. You probably lost about 6-7 yards there going that way and to the outside.
And can't emphasize it enough. Brevard special teams once again making a play in all sorts of, you want to call them sub-units within that special teams unit. They're getting it done all over the football field.
Excellent job there on the tackle. Excellent coverage by the kick team. And gaining about 6 on the play by the kick returner going backwards. Here goes Jacob underneath, and he'll get it all the way out. Boy, he can run. He just about picked up a first down on that carry right out to the 29-yard line. They'll be shy of the first. Nope, he has got a first down. They'll give him the first down there. So a 10-yard gain there. I thought he was a little shy, but they've moved the markers once again. Rolling to his left, throws, complete, hit at the 34-yard line. And he goes to Hunter Burke.
Stephen Kennedy with the tackle there.
It's about his 6th tackle solo of the day for Kennedy. He's done a nice job. He is really quite a player there at that outside linebacker position.
Yeah, one of those sidelines to sidelines type player. You see him all over the football field. The junior out of Glendale, Arizona.
Big rush right up the middle. Hit as he throws. Wobbling duck in the center field area. 3 blue jerseys. Trying to go long to Pierre Watkins. Watkins is his leading receiver that he on this team. He's the one with a lot of yardage, but unfortunately today, I believe, only done a really couple of big plays, but those were on kick returns.
And you mentioned the pass defense. Wesley Ross back there in the safety position, and then playing man-to-man defense against that wide receiver was Isaac Crisp, the sophomore.
Done a nice job of keeping these receivers in check. He'll go too wide to the right side, roll to his right. Looking, being chased. Hard throw to the sideline, nobody there except the bench area. That pass will go incomplete.
And Toby Naylor on the pass defense on that play, the linebacker, taking care of, sort of the short passing game defense, and it brings up a 4th down situation. Or are the Scots going for it here?
Wow, I thought for sure they were going to bring out their punter, and don't see him coming out there. No, they're going to go for it. Wow.
6 minutes, 40 seconds left, so time a factor now.
They know they got to score twice, but, man, you want to play the field position here. They're not. They're going for it. Intercepted at the 39-yard line to the outside edge and over into the, hit out of bounds. That's what that's going to be. Diaz with the interception there, and then he is taken all the way into the sideline over there, and you see them continue to shove him, and as soon as that happens, the ref says, we'll give you 15 more yards on top of your return. Big interception for the defense. This is huge right here because, one, now you've played right into Brevard's hands. You've given them the short field. You've taken your opportunity to get the ball back, and you've taken time off the clock in doing so and getting nowhere. You should have played to flip the field, take it down, and try to get your defense to stop the ball because you had to score twice.
Enormous play on a lot of levels there for the Tornadoes defense. Chris Diaz with the interception, the sophomore out of Bethesda, Maryland. Diaz, regains possession for the Tornadoes. 6 minutes, 35 seconds left. The very much the play of the game so far in a lot of ways.
That inside linebacker is playing kind of like what they call a quarterback read position. He's following the quarterback to see which way he's going to go. So he's the spy in essence. And as soon as he seen him roll right, Diaz went to his left, and he knew the throw was coming that way, and he steps right in front. Plus, then you get another penalty on top.
Just a costly late hit against the Scots. Maybe a bit of frustration
that
there.
was a bad penalty.
And look at the field position for the Tornadoes here, trying to ice this game now, suddenly up by 9 points and, deep in the red zone.
When Diaz ran out of bounds, he was running for the fence area, and then you turn around and hit him in front of the fence. I can't believe you don't know you're going to get a flag. But frustration, you're right. But a dumb penalty at that. Across the 10-yard line on the run there, short run for about maybe 3 yards, but it'll bring up 2nd and goal.
And now starting to chew some clock down under 6 minutes, 20 seconds to play in regulation.
Well, the opportunity here is to try to take as much as that, play clock down as you can, take time off the clock, but make sure that you give yourself enough advantage to place the ball where you want to in case you don't get in, to allow Damalos with a good opportunity for a good field goal kick. Don't get them wide or outside. They'll run one way or the other in between the hash marks. They're on the far hash mark right now on the 10-yard line. 2nd down situation. Again, up the middle, but grabbed and held onto, and he didn't get away from that Jersey yank. And he'll be brought down at about the 13-yard line. They have got a very fast up front 4 for the defense. And that front 4 has done a nice job in keeping Brevard from running all over the place today. And Goodlove and Eccles and Jackson and Cumbie, all 4 of them have really done a good job for the front 4 spots. They have even brought up a 5th guy at times, which is another outside linebacker. Under center goes Cole. Fakes the handoff, rolls right, sees some room, cuts back. Not going to get too far, going to be stopped at about the 13, so back to the line of scrimmage. Thought maybe he was going to get an opportunity in trying to get them to follow the run to the left. The defense doesn't fall for it. Good job. We do have a flag down. No, they were kept the clock running.
Yeah, I think they were just spotting the ball properly, and now a 4th down situation. It's going to be a 30-yard field goal attempt.
So they got him where they want to, right almost in the middle of the field there, just to the right of the inside hash mark. And from 30 yards out, he is good. That'll put it at 22-10. Still a 2-score game, but the time on the clock now is 4:21, so huge difference. Brevard on top, trying to get win number 3 and a big win in conference play here on BCTornadoes.com.
22-10, not 21. 22.
So a 12-point lead, 2-score lead now for the Tornadoes. 4:21 left to go here in the 4th quarter. Damalos with the boot here from the 35. Goes to the right side, bounces at the 10, grabbed at the 5. Draw back at the 10, slip there, grabbed, and a good open field tackle. And again, special teams today. Great kick coverage on Watkins. Oh, and then late flags coming out. And usually those are unsportsmanlike, whatever it's going to be. Something said, somebody grabbed, whatever the case may be. But, now maybe starting to get a little chippy. This would be huge. I know maybe you know the record, Phil, but when was the last time Brevard beat Maryville?
We'll have to double check that for you.
I didn't see a win in a while. Brevard scoring again in the second half like they've done all season so far, putting up over 40 points to just 6.
And that penalty was against the Scots.
So again, another unsportsmanlike penalty.
Frustration may be boiling over
sure,
even further.
As they say, getting chippy. Last meeting, last year, Maryville winning 29-3. No, they've only played twice. This is only their second time. I thought they played more.
Yeah,
than
Brevard new to the USA South
that's
Conference, of course. We had the commissioner, Tom Hart, on during halftime. Great to catch up with Dr. Tom Hart, commissioner of the USA South Conference. And also want to thank Coach Mike Jones for stopping by, new Brevard College Hall of Famer, inducted last night, just a legendary men's basketball coach here at Brevard College. And welcome back to all the alumni who came back for homecoming this weekend.
First pass incomplete, overthrown, brings up second down. They're inside, just outside of their 5-yard line. And right now, there's not a lot of time to work with here for the Scots. They've got to go 95 yards. Handoff, cut up the middle, breaking some tackles out across the 20 to the 22. And boy, like I said, talk about a runner. This young man has done very well today on the ground.
But the running plays at this point, the clock continues to tick away. 3 minutes, 50 seconds left to play. Now a pass play as Maryville heads out of bounds. That stops the clock at 3:47.
Unofficially right now, and then as soon as my tablet catches up here, I've got Jacob Bunch for 105 yards on the ground today, 21 attempts, averaging 5. His longest was 11. Like I said, he has run up a lot of yardage today. I mean, that's a good game for him. Wow, a lot of time to throw it. Oh, and then taken out, low blow there, right at the between the knees and the ankles. It's a illegal hit, or did they throw a flag? There is a flag. Yeah, he did throw it.
Rook Tate, the defender.
My question is he going to call him for the hit? Because he aimed low. You're not supposed to, but all the refs are out there discussing it. But here comes the walk-off. And it's a 15-yarder. So they're going to call it for the... Oh, jeez. So it wasn't on the hit. It was after the catch was made. It was called taunting against Brevard, which means like, ha, we're kicking your butt type situation. And you get 15 yards for that. You're winning the ball game. Dumb penalty, you have to stop. You have to remember, you have to stay focused. Just keep playing, or they point at the scoreboard or whatever. That's what taunting means, folks. When you taunt the other team because you're beating them, you have to remember sportsmanship in this game is something that is sometimes hard to teach as well.
Yeah, and at this point in the ballgame, it's just playing smart, to put it simply. You can't give Maryville any favors.
Be a gracious winner. Long throw down the sideline and a little out of bounds there, and good toss. 10, 20, 30, almost 35 yards or better in the air. So pretty good toss there from the young man who, like we said, I had no idea. I kept seeing that number out there and kept thinking, what is this kid doing at quarterback today? And then I looked him up, and then, like I said, I remember that he had quarterbacked in Knoxville. And he quarterbacked for Halls, who is a decent team in football in Knoxville. There's a swing outside and dropped. He tried to get the toes down and a toe drag there, but didn't happen. It's incomplete.
Coverage by Dante Anderson as the Brevard College defensive backs and passing defense continues to flourish.
And here's a stat that will really kind of shock people, especially when you look at the total attempts that was made today by Harbin. He's thrown the ball 30 times today, but he's only got 100 yards in total completions. 17 of 31 now, one interception. I mean, when you look at somebody who's thrown the ball 30 times, you're thinking 200 plus, maybe even closer to 3. But like we said, a lot of it's been screen plays. Hand off again to the big back, rounds out the outside, gets across the 45.
We'll create a 4th down situation. And as the clock continues to tick, under 3 minutes to play now, and Maryville down 2 scores.
And they don't seem to be hurrying as much as you'd like them to be. You'd think they'd be getting to the line, call 2 plays in the huddle and go. They get a snap back quickly, outside, grab, knock down. I don't believe he got it. I think he's going to be short. They're going to mark this ball at the 46-yard line. That's going to be a turnover, and here comes the offense for the Tornadoes, and that's it. Brevard Well, now all they've got to do is hold on to the ball for 2:33.
Yeah, but my count, there 4 fourth down conversions defensively for Brevard. 2 of them have been stopped on downs, and then an interception by Diaz. So the Tornadoes defense, when it mattered most on these 4th down attempts, come up big, and it looks like they've done it again, even though the referees are still sorting all this out.
You know, I was surprised because it looked to me like he was short. They're going to bring out an official measurement. I'm guessing he's short by about a half a yard. But you're right, Phil. The time of possession has been 34 minutes for the Scots, only 22 minutes. And it is, yeah, like I said, about a half a yard.
And you can see the celebration ensue. The Tornadoes starting to realize that, in fact, this game is theirs as long as, they can play this safe, hold on to the ball at this point. 2 minutes, 33 seconds left to play.
Hold on to the ball. 1 first down probably seals the game because you can take the time off the clock. You can run the play clock down as far as you want. But again, 33-51 time of possession for the Scots, only 21-54 time of possession for Brevard. And offensively, again, that is the whole thing we've talked about today. The defense in the first half, remember, Phil, we talked about it was huge. The defense made 3 big stops after that 9-minute drive that kept them in the game. Had they not, they could have been just outgassed by this point after that big 9-minute drive. That first touchdown by the Scots started to tell the story for Maryville, and then all of a sudden Brevard's defense came up huge again. Interceptions, 1 interception, unfortunately, that was taken away. Now they're going to put 40 seconds on the 2 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock. But again, like you mentioned, Maryville goes for 4th down. They end up going 1 of 5 today. And then you look at Brevard on 3rd down. Again, 18% today, 2 of 11. Offensively, not a great game. But when they needed the points, they got them, and that's what was huge.
And even though they only got 3 points on that last drive in the first half, that was a big momentum shifter.
Starting to get a little running room now, and they're going to keep the ball on the ground and take as much time off the clock as you can.
Maryville, right. 2 timeouts remaining, by the way.
And that field goal was huge because of the fact that it put it at a 2-score game. Same as that extra point. So Damalos, again, huge today with the leg. And then on the other side, we talked about it in the first half, huge with the leg again was the punter, Ferguson. These 2 guys could be up for awards again this week.
Yeah, Jackson Youngblood again with just a new career high. He seems to set a new one each week.
We'll see what they do here. Again, like I said, most likely going to keep it on the ground. You're probably going to get a big dose of Rouse, maybe Turner. You got to run across, get across the 40 to about the 39, wrapped up there.
Yeah, Turner there. Now 1 minute, 45 seconds left.
And the timeout being taken.
1:39 on the clock when the timeout's taken by Maryville. By our count, they have 1 remaining after this one. So, theoretically could get the ball back with a stop here.
Yeah, you can get the ball back with about a minute plus, depending on how long it takes the play to develop. But again, Coach Kyatt may say, hey, you know what? It's a minute 39. We decided to try to run on 4th down. You could run on 4th down, turn the ball over, and take more time off the clock and give them even less to work with to try to score 2 touchdowns in the amount of time that they're going to have, even if you don't punt the ball. Unless you get a 60-yard bomb on the first play and score. But then, you can just take the ball and kneel and run the clock out at that point. This is going to be a huge win. I'll tell you what, this Brevard team, man, this is a huge win.
Defending USA South Conference champions, Maryville, number 2 in the preseason poll for the USA South. Brevard College coming up with a big, big win.
Remember, they'll go on the road. They'll play Methodist next week. That is a 1 o'clock start. Pitch, handoff, right side, get some lead blocks. Cross the 35, should be enough. And that is a huge first down run there to get that first down.
Yeah, Rouse there with that first down carry. Great on a night that Rouse struggled a little bit, really getting his ground game going, it's got to be gratifying to get a big first down there that, virtually ices the game here.
Well, the one thing is, too, here you're exactly right. At this point, they're probably trying to tackle the ball, so they're probably not doing as well as they were earlier trying to make those tackles. And maybe you've wore them down a little bit because their defense has been out on the field a lot longer this time than they were in the first half. Cole goes up under center. Handoff again. Trying to get through a couple of guys, a couple of good blocks. Gets across the 35 down to the 33. The clock running down, 40 seconds to go. As we mentioned, they'll go on the road next week. And Methodist, who was 1-1 on the year, was playing at Huntington today. We don't know what they did, so we'll see how they do. But I believe that you'll be able to watch that game next week because I believe Methodist, when I looked it up, had a media channel. But don't quote me on that. Clock running down. And this one is over, folks. A big win for Brevard College, and a big congratulations to their homecoming win here as Brevard College pulls out the win here. They hold on. The final field goal, Gamalo's 30-yarder with 4:21 left in the fourth quarter, made the score 22-10, and that's how it ends up. So a big win there, and now the team will go on the road. Like I said, they will play at Methodist October 12th. Your next home game will be against the Huntington squad. That'll be October 19th, and that'll be a 1 o'clock kickoff start. So we'll make sure to have you back for that one. Don't forget to check out bctornadoes.com. Sign up for the YouTube channel. That way you're always up to date with when they're going to play. And again, defense today, special teams, huge part for this Brevard squad to win this ball game. It was the defense that stood up in the first half. Dalton Cole ended up 9-17 on the day for 100 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception. Henley went 1 for 2 for 21 yards. Turner ended up with 9 yards on the ground. Rouse, 8 attempts, 7 yards. Those 7 yards came in this last quarter. Hines was 7 yards on 2 attempts. And then you've got Brandon Norris, a reception for 36 yards. Dorsey, a 21-yard catch that was huge in the quarter. Rouse with that 2 receptions, 1 for 20 yards. One of those a touchdown. The long was 19. Ralph Roman got his catch for 16. Henley with a 16-yard catch early in the first half. I mean, those are the highlights of the day, but again, the biggest amount of play was really the defense and the special teams that did the job here for Brevard today. Without the special teams, without the defense, Brevard may have lost this game, but they end up winning it by 2 scores, and now they'll move on to Methodist. And Phil, you might be able to answer this better than me, but I believe Methodist has a media group, if I saw it.
Yeah, there'll be coverage
so
at the Methodist game.
Watch
Absolutely,
yeah, should be able to watch.
So at Methodist next week at 1 o'clock, and just a huge start for Coach Bill Kyatt and his squad this year. Opening the season 3-0. This win over the defending USA South Conference champions, 22-10. You can see the celebration continuing in the end zone. I mean, this is a feel-good story this afternoon in Brevard, North Carolina for this Tornadoes football team, and bringing all the alumni and all the, the fans who came out for homecoming, a big victory this afternoon.
Well, the fun part about it is when you're announcing for a winning team, it's a lot of fun too, and I'm enjoying this. I'm having a blast with this one. So I will be listening next week, and I'll be back in 2 weeks. We'll be back here for the Huntington game, and again, a big homecoming win. And hopefully they can go down over to the next one over, and they'll win their next one and come back and still with that goose egg in the loss column. Would be nice to see it.
Yeah, very good. Chuck, appreciate you joining us again this afternoon. Do want to thank our special guests who we had up here for interviews. Coach Mike Jones, men's basketball legend around these parts, was inducted into the Brevard College Sports Hall of Fame last night. He was able to join our broadcast, as did Commissioner Tom Hart from the USA South Conference. What a game to have Commissioner Hart at, too. Real competitive battle between these two USA South foes. Brevard on the winning end, 22-10. And just want to also thank all the great help we had behind the scenes, guys like Joseph Marvin and Ray Gill, and a cast of thousands in terms of students who helped put this production together. Thanks to all of them. And, we'll see you Monday night at Tornado Talk at Dugan's Pub.
Don't forget that.
We'll be with Coach Bill Kyatt and a couple of the stars from this game. You can count on that as well, and we'll be able to recap this matchup there. So appreciate everybody joining the show today. And, Chuck, it was a lot of fun this afternoon.
Thanks, Phil, for joining and sitting beside me and bringing this color. And, of course, we want to thank all of you for watching today's game here on BCTornadoes.com. I'm Chuck Sebastian. Good night, everybody. Have a good week.